altar boy.
Oh, I have to find it. This stuff doesn't work on here.
Nothing like a good dose of dumb to go with a Monday hijacking. They weren't serious, you dolt. Comedy's hard, and this is boring. That's from Brian Henshin. You know, it's always tough when the Colts come back and, you know. I mean, what kind of threat will Michael Pittman be this year with Anthony Richardson? Is he a deep ball threat? Does that reduce his ceiling for the upcoming campaign? I know Brian Henshin is covering that story right now, but is not enjoying the program. I lived up to my word and announced at my gig the 20th anniversary party that Doug was hosting, and that it was a private after party for boy sluts. That's from former fan page moderator Neil Allen, Craig Paquette. Jackson, you came back and you lifted up your hands like Petrangelo lifting up the chalice.
Yeah, shout out to Edmonton. Yeah, we're back. YouTube is back. We're all right. I don't know.
But the chat is down. Chat has a little
shouldn't be. I saw
monkey with a hammer. It says something went wrong.
I'd said the chat was up when I was back there.
Clevie Wade just said, I'm coming over the top. All in. There are no DMs. That's from Clevie Wade.
All right, here's one of them that's talking. I said something about him. He's the guy that said, thank you again, I'm going through some things, and you guys make my day, make me smile every morning. Well, he DM'd me to thank me for that. But then he also, at the end of that DM, if you want to read it, Tim.
All right, here we go. All right.
There's no name on it. You can read it if you want.
It just says Casey. LOL, I didn't mention your name, though. I know, you could have. My boys thought it was so cool. You can comment tomorrow and say my name. I listen to every segment every day. They were also impacted by what is going on. Unfortunately, I missed the orgy on Friday.
All right, there's one. I said
I wouldn't qualify that as asking.
Well, he said he missed it.
Is just 3 an orgy?
I said I got 2 DMs asking about the orgy, so there's one. He missed it.
I don't think that was an ask, though.
Well, could have been.
Well.
Yeah, he mentioned the orgy, so it's, again, I misspoke.
Clevie Wade's going to want to collect.
Well, I didn't. We bet.
I like Michael Pittman.
He said he had multiple. He only read one. That's from Brian Henshin.
That's all I'm reading is one. I don't need to prove anything to you people all the time. Every time I say something, you read it. I just showed you one.
Who are these alpha losers that DM Iggy? That's from a bankruptcy attorney. What's an alpha loser?
Like the king of the crop.
He's not a loser. I'm very nice about returning DMs, even if they're stupid. They took the time to send it, so I respond.
You can't bet Ken because even if he's completely wrong, he claims to be right and he will not admit fault. That's from Tervis Parrish, so he is not going to wager. I don't know. Clevie Wade, meanwhile, is celebrating his victory. Cletus is going to have to wire him whatever your net worth is, I guess, if it was all in.
Well, there's 30 cents. Take it.
This TMA book's just falling apart.
What's that?
The TMA sports book.
What happened?
No, where we take these wagers.
Oh.
Chaos.
Well, there was no money mentioned. But I read one that mentioned the orgy. Sorry, I missed the orgy.
But, I mean, you did say they asked.
So it's not a lie. It's just a misquote of myself.
That's right. Perfectly.
It's a nice little jigsaw puzzle.
We are on the eve of trade deadline day, and I can tell you this, the people are not happy as the Cubs have made moves, the Brewers have made moves, and the Cardinals are holding steady. A variety of different targets mentioned by, yesterday, Katie Wu talked about the Cardinals trading Tommy Edman to either the Dodgers or the Yankees. That is from Katie Wu on The Athletic. And the possibility of a trade that would involve Nestor Cortez of the New York Yankees. Now, maybe he comes here and he turns into a wizard. I suppose we've seen that before for a pitcher who was kind of trending downward and then popped up. I mean, to me, the biggest one that I've seen in my career is Woody Williams came over here and really dominated for the Cardinals in 2001 when he was kind of a throw-in as the team just wanted to get rid of Ray Lankford. And Woody Williams came in and played a role in the Cardinals getting, a win away from the NLCS. And had they gotten there, I think they beat the Braves and get to the World Series and play the Yankees. But Nestor Cortez has been terrible. 4 of his last 5 starts have been like blow-up starts. The other one that is getting a lot of attention is Eric Fetty of the Chicago White Sox. Now, unlike Cortez, Fetty's name is mentioned for a variety of teams. The gap per MLB trade rumors is that the White Sox are interested in Jordan Walker in exchange for Eric Fetty. That would be something that I personally would disagree with. The issue on that is that Jordan Walker might be somebody the Cardinals view as broken, and they're just going to try to get something for a pitcher who is 31 and is under control following this season. But specific to Jordan Walker, on the outside looking in, I would hate to see the Cardinals part with somebody that young with that much potential, unless they know something and they're just like, it is not going to happen, so let's get something for it while we can. According to MLBTradeRumors.com this morning, story that was posted 8 hours ago, the Cardinals have shown no indication of giving up on Jordan Walker in exchange for Eric Fetty.
Yeah, that would be, I think, a bad move to get rid of a guy that young with that much potential for a 31-year-old pitcher who you'd have for a season and however much long is left in this season because he signed through 25. He's been great. Eric Fetty's been outstanding this year. 4.64 is nothing to sneeze at, but to give up on Jordan Walker could be the cornerstone of the franchise. I just don't think that's the right play, given the context of the National League this season.
The Cortez is more up the Cardinals' alley. Give up something that hasn't played all year, and who knows, for a pitcher that maybe will get lucky and it'll be good. That's what they do. They're not going to go give up players for a guy who could help this team.
Tim, do you think the Cardinals are going to sell? A quote from John Denton's article yesterday really stood out, reminded me of when a private company is looking to go public. That's from Steven Time. Steven Time, could you send what you're talking about in or call in? Callier and Thompson phone line 636-9004-TMA. I would be very surprised if that were the case. Here is one observation. The team is actually, it doesn't matter. This changes night by night. And you have all but two teams in the National League within 6.5 games of a playoff spot. So outside of the Marlins and Rockies, everybody who exists in the National League is within 6.5 games of a playoff spot. And the only reason I give the qualification of 6.5 games is for the Nationals. Everybody else is within 5 games of a playoff spot. Therefore, the Cardinals, night by night, it's going to change. But right now, they are a game back of the Mets, who have the 3rd spot. It's the Braves, Padres, and the Mets. Cardinals are half game back of the Diamondbacks, and they're a game up on the Pirates. 6 back of the Brewers for the National League Central. If the Cardinals were closer to, say, the red spot or the national spot, I think, based on what we've seen so far, that the MLB price point for bullpen help is so high, above what I think projected market expectations were, that if the Cardinals were on the outside looking in, if you want to call the Nationals that at 6.5 back, even though by definition they're only 6.5 back, I would think that one of the greatest things the Cardinals could do is trade Ryan Helsley. It would be Tampa Bay Rays-esque in the sense that they are they're committed to a path, and I think it would benefit the organization. As far as looking at a regular season, the tough thing for me now with the way the baseball playoff format is that you have a system in which it's kind of like a tournament. And so when it used to be, well, I can observe that this team clearly is not a great team. Great teams don't necessarily win the World Series or pennants anymore. Great regular season teams, you just get in and then it's just anarchy. So from that standpoint, I would be very surprised if the Cardinals traded Helsley, because who's to say that they can't win the World Series, even though I don't think there are too many people who are Cardinal fans who would consider this to be a great team. So what the new format has done, from my standpoint, is I've had to restructure how I analyze. And candidly, I think it makes it a little bit less fun because it's just kind of a crapshoot thing. It certainly impacts the trade deadline. And so from that standpoint, if the Cardinals were, say, I don't know. I mean, the Nationals are 49-57. If the Cardinals were 49-57, it would be pretty clear, I would imagine, that they're not going to make a run, and they would trade Helsley, and they could get a ridiculous return for that.
Yeah, 10 years ago, when there was just one wild card spot, that certainly would be, because you'd be right now even giving them, I mean, they'd be 2.5 back of the Braves. It'd be tough to do that. But like you're saying with the National spot, yeah, you could ship Helsley out and get everything, but everybody's still in it. And then, like we've talked about with the Brewers deal when they gave up on Josh Hader or traded Josh Hader, what that did to the clubhouse and how that completely changed with the Cardinals having a big trade deadline in 22 and how that totally shifted the wins on the NL Central. I don't think that's going to be the case this year. I'd be shocked if they did something.
Stephen Time hasn't sent in the quote yet, but I'm curious what his read is from John Denton's article. I'm not sure, and if anybody else in the audience is familiar with what he's talking about. I mean, the trade deadline, for the record, is tomorrow. At this moment, the Cardinals have not done anything. I would be here is my reasoning for thinking that they're going to do something, and by something I mean acquire someone. I think, but I have had a really tough time handicapping this team, and the organization, I should say. I think they are aware of what the optics would be if they did nothing. And I think they recognize that their equity with the fan base is diminished substantially, that they can't, in their minds, sit back and not do anything. So from that standpoint, that is the reason why I would expect them to acquire someone, even if it's not somebody who is going to send a jolt through the fan base. That is my thought process. Could be wrong, but that's what I think is going to go on.
I agree with that. If it's somebody like you mentioned, Cortez, they'll get a guy that will fit perfectly.
And he's also under control for next year.
Yeah, so if they did that, I mean, if you look at his numbers, not great. They're giving Tommy Evans away. Who knows when he'll be back, if he's the same guy when they got him. So that's something I could see them doing. But I don't think they're going to go out and get a number 1 or 2 for the rotation.
Fetty would be like probably. I mean, Sonny Gray has been bad over his last 5 starts, like giving up 21 earned runs over his last 5 on almost 40 hits. So Fetty could be that guy. But if they did it for Walker, that would truly, I just think, is not a right move.
I would be shocked
Yeah.
if that were to happen.
Now, if it's a big package featuring Edman, Herrera, throw Carlson in there just to throw someone in there, maybe Sajasi, that would be, I think, I actually would like that move. But if you move Jordan Walker, I just can't be on board with it. I just cannot be on board. I cannot see another great young Cardinal go to a different team and be great. I just can't. I can't handle it, Kurt. Can't handle it. So I would be against it.
Let's see what we got here. John Denton saying that the Cardinals, in talking with the front office, are not in a position to take on additional salary. So that is where it comes from. It's an article from yesterday on MLB.com. And it, in part, has to do with designating Gallegos for assignment. So that is where it's coming from. The Cardinals are hoping to add to a starting staff that struggled at times before the MLB All-Star break and has shown signs of wear and tear of late. Staff ace Sonny Gray, who was signed to a 3-year, $75 million deal in November, has a 6.67 ERA over his past 5 starts, while the club's starting staff has compiled a 5.43 ERA in July, entering Sunday's game. And that is good for 27th in baseball. Those struggles have put more of a strain on a bullpen that was the team's strength early in the season. Their work is a big reason why the Cardinals have gone 19-14 in one-run games this year, but Marmol worries that isn't a reliable formula for success over the entire season. So that is John Denton's article yesterday, and talking about the front office and ownership not comfortable. Quote, the Cardinals front office has been informed by management that the club is not positioned to take on significant additional salary in coming years via a trade, per the source. So
That makes sense. It makes sense. You're not going to want to up salary that much, given the.
well, why do you say that?
Well, I guess it doesn't. You don't know what you're doing with Paul Goldschmidt yet. I think I would be shocked if they were to re-sign him, but I've been shocked before by re-signing. And then outside of that, I guess the only other money you have coming off the books Michaelis is 2025, so you don't really have much money coming off the books even if you don't re-sign Goldschmidt. I guess you have only his money coming off the books,
which is substantial.
Sure, no doubt.
Yeah, Lynn and Gibson, that's $20 million, I think, isn't it?
But if they don't develop young pitchers, then you probably have to take their club option for another $10 million apiece.
Which is why, I guess, Cortez, even though he has not been good, could be appealing because, again, he's under contract for next year. For the record, Goldschmidt is making $26 million.
All right, that's more significant than I thought it was. Yeah. All right. Well,
So you're talking about approximately an eighth of your payroll.
Yeah.
So that is one part of it. Gibson and Lynn are a combined $22 million. But as we just discussed, you got a spot where you don't have obvious successors for the rotation.
No, far from it. You have like nothing.
And that's why to me, when we have a Cardinal discussion, from my standpoint, we have a middling team, but a team that could win the World Series, but a team that has zero chance, from my standpoint, of winding up with one of the top 2 records in the National League. But again, the way that it's now built, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, nobody worries about, I don't think, if the Blues are going to win the President's Trophy or have the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. It's just like, get in. But that's kind of what they've created, except they have it on a schedule that is plays 2 times as many games, and you've diminished, from my standpoint, the regular season. But for the record, the Cardinals are 11 games back of the Phillies and 8 games back of the Dodgers. What is your reward for getting to them? You get a bye in the first round. I think we had 3 teams who were combined 1-9 in the postseason last year when they won. They had the top 3 records in Major League Baseball, but they were 1-9 in the playoffs. So that is what the reward is for the winning the marathon is that. But with that all said, if the Cardinals are of the mindset that we've got to store up for next year, I totally understand it. The issue for this franchise, though, to me, is that you don't have a clear rotation starting next March, and you're going to have to tend to that situation. Furthermore, a guy that I think they thought was going to be their first baseman, but they weren't sure, has trended in the direction that he has trended. Don't get me wrong, monster hit yesterday to win that ball game. But they have a bunch of question marks. Furthermore, taking it from beyond on the field, you have the television situation, and you can say, well, I can watch it because I'm a Spectrum subscriber, and that's wonderful, but that's not necessarily the core issue. The core issue is the amount of revenue that they've been able to rely on. Here, they currently still are getting that money, but if John Denton's reporting is accurate, the Cardinals are saying they're not positioned to take on additional dollars, additional significant, I should say, dollars in coming years via a trade. So this is the rotation you have, and you really can't tend to it because it's not like there's somebody clearly who's almost major league ready in the pipeline to assist that rotation. My point being, from a big picture standpoint, they've got some problems on their hands. And I understand that it might be more entertaining to, ride the highs that come with wins and the lows that comes with losses. But if you're taking a step back, it isn't a stock I'd be real high on buying right now as far as the Cardinals in the near term. But again, because of the system, they still could wind up winning the World Series, and it just strikes me as a unique set of circumstances because of that. Anyone else here fear that the front office will view the year Burleson is having as the norm and not the outlier? But it'll actually be the outlier. Not that it hasn't happened to about 7 other outfielders they've had in the past. That's from Alan Dadeville. Yeah,
but I like, if you're going to pay him big money, that would be like the only real mistake they could make with him. Outside of that, just, he's still not arbitration eligible.
Well, you don't have to for a while.
A texter also made a good point that I forgot about, that Sonny Gray contract is backloaded. So next year he's getting paid $25 million. This year it's only $10 million. Luxury tax is still a $25 million hit this year, but the actual money he's making next year is 25 compared to 10 this year.
Mozeliak has run this team into the ground. They probably won't do anything. He'll smirk and say Edman coming back is like trading for an all-star, and they'll be technically in it till the end, but not in it. That's from Tervis Parrish. Here is my observation specific on it. I would bet that they make a deal. And I think if my reads are right, and do with it what you want. If anybody wants any action, I suppose I'll do it. I'll limit my exposure, though, to $100. That if I had to make a play, I will say they will trade Tommy Edman. I don't know what they're going to get, but that would be my play.
Yeah,
if anybody's interested. And my reasoning is I think Katie Wu has the closest rapport with John Mozeliak, and so that's my thought process.
I'm not taking the action because
you're not interested in it.
Not when the Yankees and Dodgers are really interested. That seems like when they're interested, they don't really mess around. They kind of just acquire. And so if it was someone else, like if it was the White Sox thing more, I might be more inclined to do it because everybody's going to be trying to pair up with the White Sox. But Yankees, Dodgers, they like to buy. And they would probably really like to get rid of Nestor Cortez in New York. So I'm with you. I'm not taking him.
You 100% trade Goldschmidt. That's from Harrison's brother Master. I don't necessarily see it that way. And the reasoning is I just don't think he has much of a... I mean, I wouldn't be against it personally, but I don't think that there's much of a market for it. Is my laptop making sounds?
I have my phone down again, but this notification thing's going off. I got to figure it out.
Okay.
I'll get it done.
Brand new phone.
Yeah.
Just pass around a box like at church and let the best fans in. Baseball, donate to getting a starting pitcher. That's from Larry Thornton.
I wouldn't be against that.
Okay, can you imagine?
Collection.
Put the phone on silent, Strode. The adults are talking. That's from Kwame Voyukas the fourth. He's old money. He is the fourth.
I just put it on vibrate, see if that works.
All right, there you go.
Give me 40 seconds with that thing. I can turn off all the sounds it will make.
I think that'll do it. The sound is down, but
But every time you type something, we can
the notification, so I turn that down.
If sincerely rather than them, I think he's saying I'd sincerely rather them tear it down for 2 to 3 years. Being mediocre and in the middle feels worse than having the hope of drafting insane talent at the top. That's from Steven Time. Now, I don't think they will do that. Here is my reasoning for why internally I don't think they would do that. I actually think, and I could be off the mark, that they have some semblance of financial concern because of what we're seeing is reduced people in the ballpark. Now, I know they announced 37,300 or so yesterday as I was listening to, I can't recall who was on was it John Rooney and Rick Horton maybe on the radio broadcast, the post-game show. But yes, like you were saying, no way if you were actually watching that. There obviously weren't that many people in the ballpark. So there's that. So you have the ticket element, you have the concessions revenue stream trending downward. In addition to that, you have the uncertainty of the television. Now, while I personally shares your thought process, Stephen Time, it would be great. I don't think that they will do that because if they do that, they will fear that the fans won't be invested and show up to watch a rebuild. That's and furthermore, listen, they're a game out of a playoff spot, even though it is, what it is with this system. I'd just be shocked. I'd just be shocked. If they did trade Helsley, I will be thrilled for doing the program. But at the same time, the other side of it is, any fan who's upset about it, I get it, because with the way that things are, I guess you take your shot.
It rewards you.
Because it
rewards teams like the Cardinals.
You've totally, from my standpoint, devalued the regular season, but you've, just get in and dick around.
Absolutely. That's what's rewarded. That's what's rewarded teams so far in this new playoff model. And we've talked about this, Tim, for some time on Balloon Party. It's this stuck in neutral hybrid model they have.
Right.
Where they can't lose money, but they can't spend too much money. So being in the middle of the pack and still in a playoff hunt in late July is ideal.
Which is why 16, 17, and 18, to me, this is the harvest or lack thereof of that, because they were kind of in this hybrid spot and they didn't really do anything. That's why I like when teams take a path and then go, okay, this is what we're going to do. It might be unpopular, but here's what we're going to do. And that's what the Rays have done. The Rays, and it's not like the Rays are a bad baseball team. The Rays are above 500. The Rays are a half game back of the Cardinals in the overall Major League Baseball standings, but they choose a path. I also recognize it's in part because of the situation that the organization has, but they unloaded and continue to unload, and my guess is they will up until the trade deadline tomorrow. You're welcome to get involved. 314-881-TMA5, South City Sporting Goods text inbox. You can call in Callier and Thompson phone line 636-9004-TMA and email in for our Design Air Heating and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. Design Air is online at DesignAirService.com. The official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Iggy, I see on my phone, number one, we've got storms today. As I was driving in, I don't know if it's raining out there. We're in a box in here. But it looked like it was lightning when I was walking in. So I think we're going to have some storms. But then this afternoon, it's supposed to get hotter than hell in addition to having storms.
Yeah, it's for like the next week, 5 days are going to be chance of rain and storms and every day in the 90s. So it's going to be a hot week. I'm supposed to play my J. Randolph Jr. Fan Page Club Championship match today. But these storms may erase it or just make Gateway in a tough spot with the weather, because it's 100% chance, according to my phone, 100% chance of storms at 8 o'clock and 100% chance of storms at 9 o'clock. And then a heat wave comes through. If your air conditioning breaks down, make sure you are working with Design Air Heating and Cooling online at DesignAirService.com. Seth Goldcamp and his staff will work with you. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling online at DesignAirService.com, official HVAC provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. If you're in the market for a home, go online at JEFFLOTTMANN.com. Yeah, JEFFLOTTMANN.com and work with Jeff Lotman. $500 million worth of sales and 20-plus years of experience in the St. Louis market. Homes on the market, you need somebody with intel. That's where Jeff Lotman's experience comes into. If you're looking to buy or sell, work with Jeff Lotman of Compass Realty, JEFFLOTTMANN.com. That's Jeff Lotman of Compass Realty. And he has Compass Concierge for you. And Compass Concierge, you can take your home buying or selling experience to the next level. Whether you're preparing to sell or want to enhance your new space, Compass Concierge has you covered. No upfront costs. Need fresh paint, new carpet, light renovations, home staging. Compass Concierge has you covered. Unlock exclusive benefits. Get your home market ready without upfront costs. Increase your home's value hassle-free. Ready to elevate your real estate experience? Contact us today to learn how Compass Concierge can transform your home. Call Jeff Lotman today. Just go to JEFFLOTTMANN.com. That's Jeff Lotman, Compass Realty. It's raining in Swing Haven. That's from Starfish Street. Yeah, we know. We said 100% chance of rain today, so it's going to rain. Thanks for the update.
Damn.
Tim's playing in Illinois, so it doesn't matter.
I don't follow. Springfield Mud Tosser says, way to spin this Cardinal talk into UUU talk. Shut up, Strode. It's from Springfield Mud Tosser, but I don't feel like Iggy's even really been saying anything.
I didn't really, unless you're talking
But
about,
I'm trying to follow it.
unless you're talking about my phone. So I turned it into me talking about my phone.
Interesting. What in the hell are they going to do with Carlson? Guy just looks lost. Got to see him strike out 3 times up close Friday and then drop a loud F-bomb that pierced the infallible ears of the best fans in baseball. It's from Carlos Spicy Waiter.
He was rough. He had a rough weekend.
Tough play on that ball on Friday night, too.
Saturday?
Is that Saturday?
Saturday,
Kind of went running and then
a little hiney-miney misplay on that one. And,
that looked like me at the fantasy camp.
Yeah, it only allowed 3 runs.
Trying to not hurt myself.
So I was at the game Friday, seated right behind Dylan Carlson, right above the Cardinal bullpen.
Were you yelling at him the whole time?
No, one of my buddies who I was with knows Dylan Carlson and is kind of buddies with him.
No, really?
He's a really good guy. Like, I feel so bad for him because I know my buddy is a good person. He would not say DC is a bad person if he wasn't, but he just is in desperate need of a change of scenery, and he needs daily at-bats. He needs to get right because he's a good ball player. We've seen him be a good ball player. It's just not working in St. Louis. And
It's not personal. It's business.
It's always business. And what do you say, Tim? That's what the money's for?
Yeah. John Hamm said it.
Yeah. That's what the money's for. And so, yeah, he needs a change of scenery because he is He is not having a good time. But I will say, I got to sit right above the bullpen. It is crazy to watch those guys warm up and how hard and fast they throw the baseball at like 70%. Like I saw Andrew Kittredge look like he was barely even trying, and you could barely see the ball go past. It was popping the catcher's glove.
How many pitches would it take you to make contact on a big league arm like that?
1,000?
You don't think you could time it after
No.
a dozen
I'm a
or
terrible
two?
hitter. Nope. And I've never used a wood bat. So yeah, I think 1,000. Over, under, take it or leave it.
Yeah, it's the closest I came was we played a media game against the Rams, and for one inning they brought in this fast pitch softball player, and she's not throwing 100 miles an hour. I couldn't even get halfway around. Nobody could. I mean, you see it coming, so I'll just swing early. It doesn't matter. You can't get around quick enough to get to the ball. So if you're standing against a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher and you never play baseball, you got no chance. Unless you want to put the bat on bunt.
But there is nothing like seeing the media eat.
Who was the
That's my
pitcher?
take.
What?
I don't remember. It might have been that girl from Texas.
Kat
Her name was
Osterman?
Kat.
Wow.
They brought her
Never
in for
heard of this
I think.
person.
Lefty?
I believe so.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, she was fantastic. But you couldn't even see the ball, basically. And then I told her, I said, come on, can you throw a nice one up there? She was okay. So I got ready for a nice one. Here it comes. Pew! Thank you. No chance.
You've said enough to get your rights holder merit badge.
A major Ledoux cucking this weekend. I had a recent graduate from university stop by the compound's pool house and ruin me while my tubby husband was chained up wearing nothing but a needlepoint belt, loafers, and a little chastity cage for his tiny member. Who wants to be next? That's from the self-made, stay-at-home Ledoux mom.
Why are you so married to this guy?
Money.
Money, yeah. I mean,
seems-
doesn't want to alter, doesn't want to split up the
Yeah.
the
It
assets.
seems painfully obvious that she is just staying in it for the money when she's chaining up. I mean, the whole cast.
And he's only wearing a needlepoint belt.
Where are the belt loops? Skin flaps?
odd.
The chastity cage thing, and I don't want to kink shame. I never do. But that just seems like the lowest form of submissive behavior. When you are locking up your penis for, I guess, edging purposes, like you will be free when I say you're free. Like the psychology behind that, I just think is.
Well, I gather it's just the ultimate sub play.
Is it more submissive than, like, say, not Kurt style VAR sports, but more traditional style VAR sports? The golden version?
I think so. If I'm going to rank the ultimate submissive play, I think it's actually having your love in a cage, even more so than the gentleman being spit on or urinated on.
Yeah,
Right.
that may be like some sort of gimp suit, dog leash situation. That's probably pretty tough. But chaining your husband up while he's already got a chastity cage. Why do you need to chain him up? I feel so bad for this guy.
The self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom has no remorse about it. Meanwhile, Orson Woods Wacko says, so that means Mr. Licks got cucked.
Yeah, I thought that was coming.
Yep.
Anytime we'll do mention.
So Orson Woods Wacko is of the opinion that the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom's husband is Mr. Licks.
But that would be also kind of bending the knee a little bit to say that he has money. Because if he's going to be, the self-made stay-at-home Ledoux mom is basically saying her husband has money and lives in Ledoux, you're kind of taking the knee a little bit there, Orson Woods Wacko.
I got that bitch Kai's ween in a cage as we speak. That's from the recovering alcoholic from Belleville
Boy, I sure hope
and
not.
Webster Groves.
Sure hope not. They got good baseball up there in the Cape Cod region. They do that, the rookie league, like the young college players league. So I hope if you're out there, you're doing some scouting for the Redbirds. We need pitching bad.
Ken will now bring up the Riz Show Home Run Derby. I'm betting on it. That's from Harrison's brother Master. Iggy?
I wasn't there.
For the record, the Riz Show took on the Fast Lane, correct?
Yeah.
In a home run derby.
Yep. I saw some video of Marshy looking like prime Manny Ramirez.
I saw that.
Man, you are a man in love.
Well, he's a lefty, so Manny Ramirez not the best comp. But I saw this video of Marshy, and it's like effortless bombs. I was like,
really?
It was unbelievable. It was I couldn't believe. I was like, is that like somebody else? But no, I know Marshy's a lefty, and he was just cranking them. It's cranking them.
I saw Learn got the best of Brooke, too, in their head-to-head matchup.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Did you see that?
Iggs?
No, I didn't see one Learn at bat. I saw some Instagram of King Scott and I think Riz. Then I saw a post where the Fast Lane, I think, eked out a win. But even if I said something about it, what's the problem with that?
I don't see a
I'm
problem.
Harrison's
I'm
Run
just-
Faster. What's the?
Yeah, I'm just promoting one of our sister stations.
Yeah, there are
Two of our sister stations.
Yeah, so who cares?
How do you think we
How are the
Hey.
sports? Are they great?
Bad. We would fare bad.
You think?
I'm like a terrible hitter, dude.
We'd get you worked out there
No.
training for a week or so.
I got no direction there.
We got Vaughn.
Yeah, Doug could rake.
Doug took to Tom Seaver deep.
That's right. I mean, it
think
was 50 years ago, but
Yeah,
still.
no offense, but if our best chance is a guy north of 65 hitting dingers, we're not going to be in great shape.
Well, we bring nothing to the table.
I mean, Tim played baseball. You played. Yeah, you'd probably be our best
I was gonna
shot.
say,
You'd be
you
our.
forget
You
that.
would
I am
be our
not
best
swinging hard. I have no interest in
Yeah.
tweaking something.
shot. Yeah,
I hate
I don't think our
slow pitch
hearts
softball,
are in
though.
it.
Yeah.
My wife told me in the midst of passion, I just like to get fingered for my boys, and I thought that was equally hilarious, sad, and possibly true. That's from caller Buzz. I'm trying to understand that. My wife told me in the midst of passion, I just like to get fingered for my boys, and I thought that was equally hilarious, sad, and possibly true.
He's saying he just does it for the story, is what it seems.
Oh, he only likes to get digitally pleasured so he can call in and tell us that he's got digitally pleasured? Is that what
that,
he's
and I guess his close circle of friends. Yeah, I think she's saying you're like.
So he tells his buddies that his wife fingered him?
Yeah, he's like a vanity finger victim. It's like just for the story.
He's proud of this for some reason.
Well, I mean, if that's his thing, don't be afraid to let it fly.
It was 250-foot fences. Let's pump the brakes on Slurping Marsh. It's from the Crystal City Clamhammer.
It wasn't necessarily like the distance the balls were going. It was the way he was swinging. It looked like he had a lot left in the tank with these bombs he was hitting.
The old liberal Jackson can't swing a bat. Shocker. That's from the 573.
Yeah, but I'd
little
I
balloon
would
party.
literally.
hit.
Oh my God! I would 3-point shooting contest. Let's go. Let's see.
You want to take on the 573 here?
Yeah, a lot of people have a lot to say.
All right, let's set this up. Where's it go? St. Gabriel's, I guess.
Yeah,
And what's the
wherever.
wager going to be with you and the 573?
I need a 10-foot
And you go
hoop.
by the old liberal.
I guess. 10. Just give me.
573 St. Gabriel's. What's your wager?
Yeah, for real.
Morning, Dalton Overy here. Can you replay the segment where Willie got talked into going to Ballpark Village to hang out with the Fox Sports Midwest girls, and when he showed up, Jeff Ablin filled all the seats with his friends and made Willie either pull up a chair or sit by himself. So Willie left and went to Bar 360, but only stayed for a short time because he didn't have a Groupon for free drinks. Thanks. That's from the Volva family of texters.
I have seen that segment does play on the old Skelly.
I have no idea. As I read that, I'm like, did that happen, or is this just from the imagination of the Volva family of texters?
No, it was
It
definitely.
actually happened.
It's definitely a segment that plays on the skeleton of Willie telling that story that he had to kind of sit in the cuck chair at Ballpark Village with Jeff Ablin. They would always talk about. I remember when I listened back to it, they're always talking about like going out to these bars on weekday nights when like
Pony.
I can't. And they were probably older than me, definitely older than me. I can't do that. Like I can't go out to a bar, like really get after it, and then come in here ready to roll on the next day. Like I got bad sleep last night, and I'm trudging through it.
What happened? You were up watching the Olympics?
Yeah, I'm really locked in. No, I just sometimes you lie in bed and you can't fall asleep.
Hey,
That's
liberal, I hit a 7-iron, 165 yards. That's from the total package.
sick. We'll just shoot. Let's talk about real numbers. Let's talk about hard
The total
numbers.
package, what'd you shoot? What do we do, Chairman? You're the chairman of the Jennings Randolph Junior Fan Page Club Championship. If the Starms make the golf course, whatever situation it would be, I know they have a tournament today. That's why we're not playing until later on. Does that impact the deadline? I mean, we have scheduled the match, and I know fans have bought tickets.
Yeah, the match is on the books. The weather's out of all the players' hands. And this close to the end with this kind of money on the line, we're not flipping a coin.
Oh, wow, there it is. The
we're gonna
chairman
get
has
the
issued a
match in.
statement. There, fair enough.
So no matter what, the match will go down.
As long as the players want to make that happen.
Yeah, the players want to make it happen.
Has the other match been played yet?
Yes,
Yeah,
Dogtown
Dogtown.
tie is in the finals. We could have a back-to-back, Iggy. Never been done. I don't even know if we've had somebody win one year and then get to the finals to even be, I mean, it's possible. I don't necessarily track this, but I don't recall it, you know? Like
And I know Dogtown Ty wants this on the up and up. He doesn't want a coin flip. He wants this to stand on business and keep
Stand on business.
keep the integrity of the tournament. So
Josh Heupel punching air.
My wife broke her damn arm and it didn't extend the deadline. I protest. That's from Mr. Licks.
I love you, Licks, but it doesn't matter what you protest in this.
Wow, this chairman. His decisions are concise
It does
and they are firm.
It does seem like the rule changed, though.
Uh-oh. We got a situation.
Yeah, I mean that's the beauty of wielding the power. I can make these.
Well, how would the
decisions.
decision change? I mean, this is we're playing, but then the weather cancels it.
Well, you waited till the last minute. That's what was said last year. Well, you shouldn't have waited till the last minute.
Oh, wow, people are really mad.
Now it's awkward.
So you screwed Licks for the same reason. That's from the 314. Chairman, you're taking some shrapnel. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, this was. I had a feeling this wouldn't go over easy.
That if there's rain?
Well, if that there is a changing of because getting later into the rounds, I think it's the right play. I want that to be clear. My personal opinion is I think Chairman Kerr is making the right move. However, I know that the consensus of some of the players, or more specifically, people who have nothing to do with the tournament, will be the fires will be stoked.
Well, and if they don't like it, I've seen some rumblings online about Chairman Steve fan page club championship, and if they want to have some kind of BS rules in that, they can do that. But the FPCC that I'm running, I'm making the decisions. If they don't like it, kick rocks.
Wow, Iron Fist.
Good. Screw Licks. Shut up, Strode.
Shut up, Strode.
And that's Brian Anshin. Like I said, this Anthony Richardson thing has him.
I like Michael Pittman.
He's KG has got to go. That's from the total package. Licks got screwed. The whole thing should be protested. That's from Harrison's brother Master.
Don't care.
I stand with KG. Tell him to kiss your ass. It's from the Springfield Mud Tosser. Well, I didn't realize that this would get people's dander up.
Dan is not a jackass.
God, I can't wait for a fall full of that guy.
Colonel had his 10 thoughts.
Did he post it? I was looking before the program.
Yeah, I know he's like the only guy, well, you, I guess, who I know at 5 in the morning I can text.
Yeah, KG too.
KG, you're up? Oh, yeah, that's right. Dude, what are you up at 3:30 to work out?
2:19, the alarm goes off.
2:19. At what time did you go to sleep?
Probably about 9:30 last night.
God bless you. That's unbelievable.
I typically will get at least a 45-minute power nap in on the daily. That kind of gives me what I need to get through the rest of the evening. But yeah, up and at 'em early.
Wow. So what, you go lift? Is that the deal?
Yep.
That. Yeah, the Colonel has some good thoughts on PowerMizzou.com this morning. I will share those in the upcoming 8 o'clock hour. New sponsor on the 8 o'clock hour. If I don't see it on the captain's log, Jackson.
I don't believe it starts for a week.
I believe it starts today. But maybe I got bad information. Either way, we'll have that coming up in our 8 o'clock hour as the Colonel writes about Missouri's camp opening up here in about 3.5 hours. Old Liberal Pale. I carry that 7-iron about 158. Also shot in the mid-70s. Also shoot in the mid-70s to low 80s. Shall we? Boy, you're getting a lot of challenges here from the audience from Flocky the Smurf.
Yeah, I mean, I'll play. I don't care. I'll play some.
So you're going to have a 3-point shooting contest with the 5.73, and now you're going to go out there and play Flocky the Smurf.
Yeah. Problem is with the 5.73 is if it would that be is a Borgia, like let's talk St. Francis Borgia. Is that in the 6.36 or 5.73? Because if this person's from St. Francis Borgia, I got no chance.
That's 6.36. That's Washington, Missouri, I believe.
Okay, then we're good. We played St. Francis Borgia. It looked like the Splash Brothers of 2015 had showed up and started raining threes on us. So.
It's a quaint little city, but it's way out there.
Okay.
Of course, Liberal Jackson supports the hierarchy. Put it to the people and save democracy. That's from Mr. Licks.
I'm not engaging in that nonsense.
Chairman Kurt's decisions are always going to be kissing members of the dais's ass. He's been doing that for 10 years. It's from Ken's wedding toast.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I don't think I've been around that long.
Yeah, this is tough.
The fact that it's July still and we're down to 3 total players, I say let them play whenever they want. I'm Team KG. That's from Flip Wilson.
Oh, look, a great American, Flip Wilson, a quality person who I know personally is being rational. What do you know?
I agree with his decision because, I mean, who cares if it goes a week later? I mean, you have to set a time limit when there's that many players still in it because we'll be playing till December if these people take forever. With only one match left to go, and it's not even August yet, who cares? But I'm just saying the licks thing will come into play when you made that decision.
Yeah.
But I agree with your decision. Who cares if it's not played in another day?
Well, some unity on the day, I say.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yeah. I think you're making the right call. You can't do a coin flip at this point in the tournament.
Well, the listeners disagree. I couldn't care less about your Shishawali tournament. And Lick sucks. But these fats have a valid point. That's from Mrs. Janny Shanahan.
Like I said, if you guys want to take on the responsibility of fielding your own tournament, make all the rules you want, but as long as
So you're saying there's tension with your tournament and Stephen Wildwood's tournament?
I mean, like I said,
I wasn't aware of Stephen Wildwood's tournament.
Does he have enough players? Does he have enough people on that page to even start a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
64 people are playing in a Stephen Wildwood tournament?
No, I'm just saying, hypothetically, there are enough members of the page where they could fill a field.
Well, the TMA fan page has like 7,200 members, but I think like it's 300 people, really.
That's true.
More or less.
Yeah.
Depending on the day.
Yeah, but as long as I'm running this tournament, Janny Shanahan, Licks, I don't care what they have to say.
You're always going to have detractors. Yeah, you make a decision, there's always going to be people who disagree.
Yeah.
The people with legit opinions on the Fan Page Club Championship. Wow. Just wow. That's from Tervis Parish.
You know, I'm learning the more and more that I chair these different events, it's never going to be easy. I had to kind of lay down the iron fist with the TMA College Football 25 Online Dynasty.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know about this. What was the decision?
There's some real chicanery going on.
Really? Things are happening.
What's going on? I didn't even know. Well, how can something be going on with a video game?
Well, I mean, I'll
Please.
Oh wow, you guys are activated on this.
So when you play this online Dynasty, essentially, how many people do we have? 32.
32 guys playing video games together?
30-ish guys,
Yep.
but we're all playing the same season with different teams. So all these games intertwine with each other. Like I have South Carolina, he has Missouri. So I play Kentucky this week, so I got to play another guy who has Kentucky. But if you're playing against a team who isn't controlled by a user, like if you're playing some of these cupcake games against, Directional School State, you just play the computer. But if you play the computer, in theory, you can quit the game if you're losing, and then when it restarts, it puts you back to the start of the game. So if you're losing, you can essentially cheat the system and start over. However, it does show up on the schedule that you've played the game multiple times. So you can see when people are restarting their games against the CPU.
We had a couple of cases of that in week 1.
Yeah. Had some guys who were going to lose to their cupcake games, game 1, and they restarted it.
Is there money involved in this?
No, there's no money, but there's integrity.
Integrity, yeah.
Yeah, and so these heathens.
Wow. Like how many guys have done this? I assume we're talking men.
At least
really?
two.
Did these gentlemen know that you guys are aware of the...
They probably didn't know at the time that it would show up. Like it says times played, and there was like one of them was like 3 times played. I was like, you didn't even give them on the second crack at it. And so there's been so Chairman Kerr had to lay down the law and say like, hey, I can't make you stop you from doing it or disqualify wins, vacate wins, but I mean, let's have some decorum here.
And I got people messaging saying, hey, I'm going to be out of town with the family next week. Do I have to automatically take an L?
Sim it, right?
Yes, you signed up for this league. If you're not available to play your game.
Is it a loss or is the game simmed?
If it's a man-on-man match,
then they lose.
They have to take a loss. But I think maybe Joe Roderick or perhaps, I don't know
he
who
took
it was.
UTSA.
Yeah, somebody coached by Dan Marshall. We might do simulations for man versus computer, but if you can't play and you have another human opponent, you got to take the L.
I'm with you there.
Don't schedule your family vacation in the middle of our dynasty.
Yeah, seriously. It's SEC time, baby.
The Stephen Wildwood fan page has 475 members. The traffic cone is so jealous. It's from the Breakfast Club. Are you jealous of Chairman Steve's fan page?
I don't have a fan page. What am I jealous of?
You should start one.
Yeah,
No.
That would be great. That would be great. I would be a proud member.
No, because then I'd have to take care of it.
You could have someone run it. Neil Allen Krug puck gets free.
I don't have enough fans to start a fan page.
Oh, I beg
Disagree.
to differ.
Just go to my Facebook
Disagree.
page if you want to.
That's where
See
you
me.
got some posts.
Well, that's where I post.
Chairman Steve, regarding his golf tournament, says, I am only waiting on an envelope for the money. Supposed to meet somebody in Hillsborough today that I found on Facebook Marketplace. So it sounds like this event is going.
Isn't that basically how Cletus found Florida Flower? It was like, just like, anyone want to come to Florida with me and sleep in the same room? It's like, sure.
I never thought there'd be something worse than hearing about someone else's fantasy team, but this is pretty sad. Way to go, Ken. That's from glove blogger Tom Traven.
I didn't start the conversation.
I gotta say, Iggy had like zero involvement. Assuming glove blogger Tom Traven's talking about the video game thing, what does Iggy got to do with that? Then maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I don't know what else I was talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless I made the.
So I guess he's upset by the guys restarting their video games again.
And he should be. Yeah, that's BS.
Yeah,
you do
why
that
do
in
you
your
talk
own
about
little games. Like if you're doing your own little Dynasty game just with you can do that all you want. Do it to the cap. But when you're playing with other people, I mean, come on. Have some decorum around here.
I've always been convinced that the listeners were sads and fats, but now I'm absolutely convinced. That's from Clevie Wade. Ken's too busy engagement farming on Twitter to create his own fan page. That's from glove blogger Tom Traven. Are you engagement farming on Twitter?
I
Fire up the old X.
don't believe
Yeah,
so.
I gotta see what it's
I
doing.
posted something about a weather forecast yesterday, but
Did you do any writing this weekend?
I did not.
On the book?
I did not. I was watching the Olympics and some other stuff.
What'd you watch Olympic-wise?
I watched. I don't know why I was watching the gymnastics. With the U.S. wasn't even in it. I was watching France just fall on their face. I watched some of the men's basketball game. God, they take this so seriously. They're winning by 30 points, and LeBron's yelling at players.
Yeah, but then they don't do it, and they play against South Sudan and get a 1-point win. They're called a disgrace. So it's almost like NBA players can't win.
What did they win by yesterday?
30 or 20. It was 84 to 110 to 84.
Yeah, I mean, they're up
Jason
by,
Tatum got 0 minutes.
they're up by 25, and he had a layup and started pounding his chest. I mean,
Because
they're up by
Iggy,
30.
if they don't, then they get called disgrace if they don't win by a lot.
Guys, I believe there were 5 guys who played their game multiple times in week 1 of the TMA Dynasty. That's from Strap on 18, so I guess he can see this too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. If you're in the league, you can see. Yeah. That's just bad. It's just bad decorum. But if you're gonna just take the loss, I was down 17 points to Old Dominion with South Carolina. You know what I did? I conjured up a comeback.
Ken has gotten very political on X with very informed opinions. That's from the Crystal City Clamhammer. Iggy, are you opining on politics on the Twitter tweets?
No.
I just saw a weather forecast. That's what I went to and saw.
Yeah. I saw frozen mix.
Frozen mix on Wednesday. That's why I said Steve Templeton's in for a big day Wednesday. High 97 with a frozen mix. No, I just posted a response. I did some digging on it. Because, over the weekend, the whole hoopla was the opening ceremony thing. So when I saw somebody posted something about what it really was about, I said, well, let me go dig into that. And I did. I searched what it was about, and that's what it was about. So I just reposted what this person wrote instead of me typing everything up. You don't even know if that's right. You just reposted something. Don't go look it up. I did look it up. And it's just, I'm not saying.
What are you talking? I'm not sure. The opening ceremony. I don't.
The Last
they were
Supper
on
thing.
boats.
No, when they had supposed to be the Last Supper thing.
I'm not familiar with this.
I didn't see it.
Well, then why are you writing about it?
Because everybody's in an uproar of it. And I said, what's this all about? And I did some research. I said, well, they weren't, according to what I read, they weren't really going off on
When did this
Christianity.
happen?
Friday night. So anyway, I mean, here nor there. I don't care. I just thought I would post the
Just
other.
a little research would stop all the hate. Is that what you're talking about? Was that the post?
Yeah.
Well, 6 people replied. What happened?
I didn't read the responses.
Was Gaga there?
Bob Ramsey gave you a good try.
Yeah. he didn't agree with the explanation. But I just gave another point.
But what happened? If you don't mind me, I would imagine if I'm not aware of it, a good number of people in the audience aren't aware of it.
It had something to do with.
Were you guys aware of this?
Yep.
I've seen a little bit about it. I'm not informed enough to really chime in a whole lot.
People think that and I don't know for a fact. I just know what somebody said. If you go look at what France, thinks about theatrics and theater and things like that, they weren't really depicting the Last Supper. It was Dionysus or something like that. If you go read about it, that's what they were depicting. It wasn't cross-dressers. They weren't trying to poo-poo on Christianity. So I just gave the other side of it. I couldn't care less. It didn't offend me. I didn't see it.
It says it was.
But it was hate everywhere.
A depiction of Dionysus, the god of plays and festivals.
And you have to remember, this is Paris. When it's in the U.S., they can do whatever they want. This is Paris. They're talking about their culture and their country and the things that they appreciate. The first thing you do is you see 12 people, and one of them is dressed like a woman. Oh, transsexuals tearing down Christianity, making fun of the Last Supper. What? Here's what somebody else said. Take what you want. You either believe it or you don't believe it.
Doug's prison wallet just sent in a meme, Mark Safed, from having my feelings hurt because the Olympics held in France portrayed a French painting about Greek mythology, and I'm too uneducated to know it had nothing to do with an Italian painting about Christianity.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yes. Yeah, I saw it, saw the response, and I said, well, just add another log to the fire.
What response are you talking? The response to Iggy's?
No. The response to what Iggy is alluding to. The people, because Iggy's not wrong. People were in and up. But, I mean, it's...
God, wow. I'm so detached that I'm
You're lucky.
completely oblivious to this.
You're lucky. I didn't see it, but I said...
And I was just watching my two sons on Friday night, so I would have had all the time in the world, but I completely am...
Yeah, I had no interest in watching the opening ceremony. I'm just there to watch the athletics. But every post on my Facebook page, not my page, but on Facebook, was all about this. And what happened Friday night? So I'm reading it. I said, oh, I don't know. Cletus posted something on his page, and my God, like 150 comments. I told him, I said, dude, just stay away from religion and politics. I've told you many times.
Morning. Here's a hot take about something I didn't see. It's important to be first to market with uninformed decisions. What do you mean what happened, Timmy? I have no idea. But why the hell would you ask me about it? Anyways, I did some digging. Not sure what I'm looking up or why I care, but it's just something I did over the weekend to occupy my time. Head on a swivel, hedonism page. It's coming your way next. Bess, that's from the Vulva family of texters. The Vulva family has a group of texters.
I said, which one were you? Were you Gail? And I do believe I know she had a sister, Debbie, because it was friends with my sister, Vicky. I remember she came to dinner one night, she wore a halter top, and my dad said, you can't wear that to this table, take it off. I said, you of all people telling her to take off a halter top? My God.
What?
Well, you didn't have to see it to read all the comments and what they were talking about. And I just said, I'm Catholic. It doesn't offend me, whatever they did. So I went and saw some other posts, and then I said, well, I'm not going to take that as a grain of salt and say, here, I'll post this. So I went and looked up the Dionysus and what France believes in certain things. And, it's their Olympics. They can do what they want. Why would they... Let's piss off the Americans.
I don't understand why religion is proprietary to a nation. I mean, unless we're now in a theocracy, but I thought that was something we were against in the Middle East. But maybe things are changing.
But if you read what they said, it had nothing to do with religion. It had to do with Dionysus.
I thought it was about the anger as I'm reading about this on the fly is because people thought it was a depiction mocking the Last Supper.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
That's what they're upset about. But if you go and read some things that had nothing to do with the Last Supper. It's French. It's France. They weren't depicting the Last Supper if you believe some of the other posts and you go do some digging. I don't know. I didn't talk to the organizers. What was it about? Does anybody talk to the organizers? What was
I think the organizers are going to be with us at 8:30, and then we'll have Gabe.
Line them up. Good.
Ken is 1,500 words into this quote-unquote explanation, and we're no closer to understanding what he meant. It's some glove blogger, Tom Traven.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to explain it. It's all in the post.
Do your own research.
Yeah, that's
Doug, paint me like one of your
That's
French
what I
girls.
told the guy. He says, you did little research. I said, well, I did do research. Why don't you go research and find out what they were talking about?
Boy, has the word research been bastardized over the past
Good
couple
morning
years.
and welcome to the segment where Ken hijacks and explains things he saw on Facebook over the weekend and then decided to put on his social media page. That's from the Chicago Ginger.
I didn't put it on my social media page.
I thought it was on your Twitter. I'm looking at it.
I just said if we stop the hate. I didn't comment on it. I didn't say, you people need to shut up. Here's what happened. Here,
You said just a little research would stop all of the hate.
Yeah, and I just posted what somebody else had posted. But I did research that before I posted. I didn't just blindly posted. There's so much fake stuff out there. So I went and typed that into Google, and I searched it. I said, well, that's what it says, so I posted.
Iggy, the host committee apologized for it yesterday. So I don't know. Maybe you're wrong? That's from Steven time.
Maybe they apologized because they pissed people off. A lot of people apologize. We're sorry if we offended anybody. That wasn't our intention. Did they say, yes, we apologize? It was about the Last Supper. Yes, we were criticizing Christianity. We were making fun of all you people. We apologize. Is that what they said?
This is a problem with America. There is such a low threshold to an absolute moron engaging in conversations which they know nothing about and having a large audience to do so. Take your stuff and your Korans and go back to the little kids' table. Let the grown-ups on the show talk. That's from Arbor Day. I thought that was going to be a commentary on this uproar. I guess it was more directed.
Yeah, I mean, it was. Why not?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's right.
So you were aware of this, and this was like a big thing, even though you acknowledged you were at the Cardinal game.
Yeah, I
on
didn't watch
Friday.
the opening ceremonies, but I saw the performance, and I saw people what they were saying, and then I saw people were like, no, it's an allusion to this painting, and obviously the Last Supper didn't happen in France, so it would be kind of odd to depict the Last Supper, and so I saw that, and then I was like, oh yeah, no, people are wrong. What do you know? And moved on. Iggy, for all these people who were upset with him, the meme or the kind of little infographic he posted was correct, and in that sense that they weren't depicting the Last Supper, so I don't know why people were mad at Iggy for that.
The Olympic Committee specifically said he took inspiration from the Last Supper painting. That's from Mr. Licks.
Well, I assume the painting, of the French painting, was also taking some Last Supper inspiration as well, so kind of chicken and egg, if I had to guess.
Tim, they knew exactly what they were doing. They had transvestites mocking the Last Supper. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not a practicing Christian, but I am familiar with the imagery. It absolutely was the Last Supper. They wanted to do what all social media does, and that's get clicks and likes. Whether I should care about it or not is completely unrelated because I don't. They removed the video of it because it was so blatant. But Iggy does not know what he is talking about. That's from the 618. Man, I guess I was unprepared for today's program. I had no idea about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't say. I said that they're not bashing Christianity. Now they can be depicting what they want, but also they're also depicting Dionysus, which has to do with. And somebody was talking about, oh, they cut off our head. Well, it's Marie Antoinette. There's all kinds of things they did in there that if you're not familiar with it, you're not paying attention. You're just going on Facebook and going off on things. Boycotting the Olympics. I'm not going to watch the Olympics. What do the athletes have to do with what happened on opening night? And it's sad that people just get an uproar over little bitty things. Like I'm Catholic. If it was the Last Supper, it doesn't bother me. They have their own opinion. It's France, for God's sakes. What do I care what French people do? But just have to get an uproar over it. I mean, there's thousands of posts on Facebook.
Eric in the Central West End has a perspective. The transsexual opening ceremony was absolutely intentional in the deep state's goal to normalize pedophilia, belittle Christianity, and continue to shove LGBT propaganda down our throats. There was literally a guy with his nutsack hanging out. That's from Eric in the Central West End.
I don't think you can have a nutsack on TV, can you?
There wasn't. That's not the case.
You aren't Catholic! That's from Ken's Wedding Toast.
Wow.
Well, I am Catholic.
They are taking
Next.
some interesting routes.
But yeah, checking out my call him the St. Mary Magdalene and see when was the last time he was at church. Can you tell me when you saw Stuart at church last?
Doesn't matter.
Has he been? Have you talked to the Pope?
If you say you're Catholic, you are Catholic.
Speaking of France, you guys remember when Debbie Vulva showed up at Sunday supper in a halter top and then Papa Strode kicked her out? Just classic Vulva to show up in a halter top. Those damn Vulvas. Anyways, in a wild lack of self-awareness moment, you guys want to hear about me chastising Cletus for existing only in the Facebook world and being terrible at it? Appreciate it. That's from the Vulva family of textures. So the family gets together and listens to the show and then texts in. The South City Sporting Goods text in.
Where are you, by the way? I've been looking for you forever, Gail. Whichever vulva texter you are, can you find your sister and tell her I'm looking for her?
When you say you're looking for that, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, I was on Facebook trying to find her.
She's not like a missing person.
No, I just don't know where she's at. And I talked to Chris Bird, who used to date her. I haven't talked to her for years. He said she was
It
nice.
starts with a G and ends with an ale vulva.
What was her last name? It wasn't actually Vulva, right?
That would be really tough.
It's Hulva, but I keep calling her Vulva now.
Well, it's like the Seinfeld thing.
Yeah, I'm looking for Gail Vulva. I think Hulva.
Seinfeld's girlfriend was named Mulva, right? He originally called her Mulva.
Mulva. When I actually DM'd Chris to see if he'd seen her, I said, "You talked to Gail Vulva lately?" He goes, "Who?" I go, "Oh, H. Hulva." I call her Vulva now. Can you imagine if I met her? Gail Vulva, long time no see. What?
Is there a picture of Iggy changing Leona Helmsley's pull-ups?
What year were you born, Iggy?
57.
57. Was Gail a couple of years younger than you?
We were in the same class.
Okay.
She could have been
Maybe she
younger.
was advanced.
She could have been younger. I mean, she was in my class, but they moved from out of town. She was only here for like 2 years.
I moved because everyone called her Gail Vulva. Get the hell out of Dodge.
That was very convenient for Bird because they moved in right next door to Bird, right on High School Drive, across the street from the high school.
Maybe the book isn't the move. It's a sitcom about, early 70s Brentwood.
Guys, is that Wes Sutter with 2 T's? That's from Arbor Day.
Damn it, I don't have time passages up. Otherwise, I'd play it.
Somebody just sent in an image of the guy's nuts hanging out. Chairman, I got to move off of this. You get it?
Yep.
Okay.
That should
move
do
off.
me.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right.
Elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications, and they are known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. Pure Performance, the best place to go for replacement tires for any vehicle. They don't just sell oversized tires for your trucks and off-roading vehicles, but also carry tires and wheels for your car, minivan, or SUV as well. Now is the perfect time to spruce up your vehicle for the summer. Pure Performance has a huge assortment of leveling kits and lift kits for Jeeps, Broncos, SUVs, and trucks of any make and model. Don't let any road stop your adventure. Leveling kits to fit any budget starting at $350. Stop by the Pure Performance showroom today, located at 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles, or visit pureperformance.com. That's PURperformance.com. Pure Performance, PUR Performance.com. Jackson, would you like to tell me about Circa?
I'd love to tell you about Circa, Tim. The biggest pro football contests in Las Vegas are back and better than ever. The Circa Survivor and Circa Millions are now up to $16 million in guaranteed prizes, and there's 2 ways to win with no rake. The Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. You last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. And in the Circa Million event, you make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed. $6 million guaranteed, quarterly and full season payouts as well, so you can wet your beak. Now, you got to enter in Nevada at the Circa Sportsbook in Las Vegas. So if you're heading out there before the football season, maybe with some friends, maybe with your significant other, check out Stadium Swim first and foremost. Chairman Kurt and I were out there. That is one of the coolest places to be in Las Vegas. If you're a sports fan and like hanging at the pool, it's the perfect union. You go check that out. You enter into the contest before September 7th, and then you can play from anywhere through a proxy you'll set up at Circa. So you can play here in STL or Illinois side, wherever you may live. You can play from anywhere with your proxy. Visit circasports.com for more details.
Yeah, it is almost time to make sure that you are in at Circa. If you are injured in a car accident and you need an attorney, you need the best one you can find. If any of my family or friends are ever injured in an accident, I want them to call Doug Biggs and C.D. Longo at Longo Biggs Injury Law. For nearly 10 years, Doug Biggs and C.D. Longo have been recognized the top 40 under 40 personal injury lawyers by Super Lawyers, the National Academy of Personal Injury Attorneys, and the National Trial Lawyers Association. In a personal injury case, there can be a substantial amount of money on the line, and these guys know how to get you every last dollar possible. They're smart, they're tough, and they're aggressive. They routinely get high-dollar settlements, $100,000, $500,000, $1 million settlements. You name it, they've gotten it, while fighting for their clients. They are not the churn and burn type of law firm. With Doug and CD, you won't be just another file lost in the shuffle. If you have questions about your case, you'll talk to Doug or CD personally, and they will handle every aspect of your case the entire way. They'll get to know you. You'll get to know them. They are local, friendly, professional, and most importantly, excellent personal injury lawyers, and they're listeners of the show. Go online at longobiggs.com. That's LONGOBIGGS.com. Longo Biggs. Remember how Jackson said there weren't nuts hanging out? I didn't hear him issue an apology. That's from Mr. Licks.
Okay, apology. I thought we were talking about the blue guy. The blue guy, I didn't see any nuts out, but there was a person to the, I guess, his stage right where there might have been a nutsack hanging out. So I guess I apologize. I'm sorry.
Mr. Licks, does that...
Would you like to apologize for, like, everything? Or
Mr. Licks, would you like to apologize?
Because it seems like a one-way street with a lot of these things. Like, we're held to a certain standard that these people aren't because they get to use fake names.
My daughter, who is 16, understood the historical references. Come on, get your noses out of other countries' choices to reflect their culture. Instead, read a book. Iggy is right. If you are limited to your own personal beliefs, please sit and educate yourself, MFs. That's from Sticky Ricky. Iggy got support there.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to believe now what they want to believe. So you either believe the depiction of what it really was, or you believe everybody saying it was definitely Last Supper. Guys' nuts were hanging out. They hate religion. They hate gays. They hate us. Believe what you want. It doesn't affect me. They're in France.
Those were not testicles hanging out, Licks. It's a tear in the guy's pantyhose. Some big tuft.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a wardrobe malfunction. I don't think they... I mean, if his nuts are hanging out, it wasn't on purpose. Hey, when we get out there, pull your pants to the side and let your nuts hang out. Great idea, Pierre. Pierre Johnson.
Yeah, right. Pierre Johnson.
I think it's effing weird to have that in the opening ceremony, but it was not a nutsack. It's a tear in the guy's pantyhose. That's from Mr. Big Cream. Sounds like you didn't need to issue an apology, Jackson.
But we'll hear absolute nothing from Mr. Licks.
Hey, Mr. Licks is going to apologize.
Has he ever?
He should.
Right. So I mean, well, again, it's a one-way street on this morality thing, and I'm not here for that. You know, I'll be the first to put my hand up and accountable. But if people can't, do the same, then what's the point?
Wouldn't it be easy to say, they're making fun of the Last Supper? That's not nice. But I'm just going to watch the Olympics. That's what I'm here for. I mean, did you not like Celine Dion singing from the Eiffel Tower after all she's gone through? She sounded fabulous from when I watched the video. I'd be happy about that. It was a great opening ceremony, the stuff I saw. You're going to just pick one thing and... I mean, half these people probably bitching are probably atheist. They just want to bitch about something.
Oh, how the snowflake tables have turned in recent years. That's from Stepdad Gary. I think most people need to chill. That's from Doug's Prison Wallet. I often pull my shorts to the side to let my nutsack hang out. That way I can get that natural vitamin D on them. That's from Jackson's buddy in Cape Cod, Sweet Kai.
He's often talked about sunning his nuts.
Mm-hmm. That right?
That's like a thing I guess people do. And he's strong on that. Seems like a dangerous play. Seems like the line between sunning and burning pretty tight.
Yeah, that's...
I'm a pale man, so I don't know.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, lots of sunscreen. That's, take it from a guy who spent 2 weeks there for 19 straight years in the sun naked. A lot of sunscreen on those malls.
I'm zooming in now on what might be a scrotum or the tear in the pantyhose. Boy, it's tough. Ace King versus Pocket Queens. I can see both sides of it.
Pretty
It does look like there could be some volume on the gentleman's his own right testicle, and then shades for some volume on the left testicle. But I can also see the case being made for the pantyhose tear. I don't know.
Look, if you're going to do it on purpose to prove a point, you.
What's the point to prove?
I have no clue. They'll find some point.
But who would have thought Iggy's Twitter post?
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't bring it up. A texter said Iggy's posting political views, and Tim, being the good host he is, asked, "Are you posting political views?"
Thank you, Chairman.
And I just said, no, I just posted something about the opening ceremony, and we got into it. But if that texter wouldn't have asked about it, we still wouldn't have talked about this thing.
I didn't know about it until my 4-month-old grandson has the biggest nuts ever. I call him Big Balls Baker. Thanks. That's Chairman Stephen Wildwood, and that's why he has his own golf tournament. Text like that.
Talking about a 4-year-old's...
What happened? You just trailed off.
I'm not going to repeat it because I find it kind of odd.
So you like to condemn Chairman Steve's text?
Yeah, let's go ahead. It's unchristian, just what you talked about. God, I'm going to post it on Facebook.
That sentence had everything. A humble brag, a hijacking, and some ass kissing. That's from Brian Henshin. And he'd like to see Anthony Richardson just throw it a little further. The lightning is frightening. Hold me pale. I guess we have substantial lightning in the area.
heard
I
some
hear
rumble in
thunder.
The thunder rolls?
I can hear
You're the
thunder out of my.
thunder.
This is my bear ear.
Oh, yeah.
Like unlike Corey Feldman in Stand By Me,
Right.
where he had a bad ear,
Yep,
I have this bear ear here where I can hear better outside, and I can definitely hear thunder approaching.
I'm sure it rained somewhere yesterday
look at
at
my
some
radar.
point late in the afternoon.
Sure rained Saturday.
But it was probably maybe a half hour after Goldschmidt hit the home run that, boy, it was thunder and lightning everywhere around my house. And it was black as pitch black. But right by my house was like blue skies. So off to the distance, there was lightning, thunder, and black skies, but it didn't rain at my house at all.
There you go. Boy, we got a lot of storms coming through. This is a long line of storms going back into Kansas.
When I read the forecast earlier, it said every single day has a chance of heavy precipitation.
Boo hiss.
Yeah, kind of sucks. Kind of really sucks.
And hot.
The problem is it blatantly looks like The Last Supper, and then we turn on the radio and Jackie Boy and Iggy are all like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're an idiot. We've always been at war with Eurasia. That's from Mr. Licks.
Respectfully, I don't think we were calling anybody idiots.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned the word idiot. And I didn't say they weren't depicting the Last Supper. Maybe that's what they put it.
They said that they didn't.
Yeah, well, I didn't. But
they said that was not drawing.
Were you in uproar when
but whatever.
Simpsons did it? I mean, the Simpsons did a segment when they were all doing the Last Supper and Homer was God.
Herbert Walker had some
Anybody have a
thoughts.
problem with that?
Who is keeping this record that Iggy is always speaking of? That's from Steve in Wildwood. He's a chairman.
What record is that?
Chairman Collins, 6369004.
No, please don't. Just text me what you mean.
What the hell is going on? What do we do to have fun in this world anymore? Nothing! Tired of it! It's from the unknown DJ.
Do we have that clip of Fesco saying that?
I believe.
That is just...
You talking about Bob Fesco?
Yeah. I mean, I know there's the Kool-Aid and Gatlinburg or wherever he is, but that one, he was, can't we have fun anymore?
Tired of it!
I'm going to have to go digging.
Yeah, he did say that. That was the end of it, but there's more to the beginning of that.
Yeah, just give me a...
Were you in there for that, Tim, or was he by himself by then?
I was in there.
Let's see if it's written under Bob or is it under Fesco. That's always the fun. Boy, it is thundering.
I think it's raining.
I mean, you can hear the precipitation on the rooftop here at Hubbard Radio in St. Louis, Missouri.
God, I feel bad up for your match today.
I'm not going to get any rollout.
Here we go.
A lot of plugging.
Get over it! What the hell can we do in this world to have fun? Nothing! Because you're out there saying everything we say is wrong! Tired of it!
You were in the studio for that?
I can hear him giggling.
I would like to see your face. Wish you had YouTube back then.
I can hear him giggling.
That sounds like something he fakes on Facebook or YouTube when he does that. Pissed off at the outcome of a game.
Tony Soprano was Jesus in The Last Supper in the final scene of The Sopranos. How's that for a sentence? That's from Caller Ellen. Caller Ellen with a take.
Final scene of Sopranos, there were 3 people at the table.
4 when
Meadow was making her way in.
Yeah,
although
to be fair, we never saw her sit down, right?
No, it went to black as soon as she walked in, and it went to Tony, and it went black. But how was that the Last Supper? There were only 3 people there.
I do believe that there have been theories on that, and that the onion rings were representative of the last rites. How about that?
And he did love those onion rings.
Because they were in the form of a...
Halo?
Eucharistic
Got it.
host.
What was the plops line with the word Eucharistic in it?
That was DJ Gabe 911, and that was Eucharistic Minister my ass. I don't even care.
One of the
anymore.
all-time greatest emails in the history of this
plays on the
program.
Skelly.
Tim, can we get an update on your tournament? Are you club champ? Thanks. That's from Dimitri Sokolotu. Jackson, that was the first question you asked me when I walked into these studios this morning.
It was.
We had it wasn't the club championship. I've been dismissed 5-4 in that one, and it really should have been like 7-6 by a player who's I'd say about if we were to play regularly, we'd probably beat me by about 8 strokes. He's a listener. He might. I think he would agree with that range. He probably is going to shoot around. Maybe I don't know. Now I'm playing better, but either way. Anyway, this was member, and it's alternate shot. And in texting your anger about this 314-881-TMA5. So Iggy, I don't think we've discussed this because you were not in here when Jackson asked me about it. Chairman was in here.
No, I didn't because I just figured it got rained out.
No,
it rained all day Saturday.
Yeah, but Friday. So Friday we were 1/2 point off of leading the flight, and 6 teams in each flight. Really liked where we were. And then later that evening, my playing partner, great guy, texted me and said, I don't know what's going on, but my knee is blowing up and I can't put any weight on it. Oh. And then the next morning at 6 a.m., because we were teeing off at 7:45 on Saturday, he said, I can't play. I cannot play. And so automatically we have to withdraw because it's alternate shot.
That sucks.
It does. But, I mean, those are the rules. I understand it. A couple of years ago, same thing happened with somebody getting COVID. So that's the way that is. So we had to just withdraw, which sucks. But So then I had to go out there and be the marker. I didn't have to, but I was asked to because the other teams are not playing. They don't just get the 10 points. They play against the net handicap of the 9 they're playing. So you theoretically have to make sure that they are putting down accurate scores. And if I didn't do it, I'm sure somebody else with the course would have had to do it. So I went out there, and initially on the first hole, I'm like, okay, I'm playing 27 holes. I'll just try to get a good score. And I couldn't gamble with them because they weren't, they're playing their own thing for much bigger money. And then I bogeyed the first hole, and I'm like, my heart's not in it.
You took off?
No, I stayed because I felt like I had a responsibility. And then once the final group that I was with was mathematically eliminated in the third match, I bolted, and I had done my diligence. So anyway, unfortunate, but those are the rules, and what are you going to do?
It's a shame Kurt wasn't your club manager to change it for you.
Wish I could afford a country club. Go F yourself, Tim. That's from Chairman Steve in Wildwood. We finna be rich. True alternate shot or modified alternate shot? I guess you would say modified, because we both teams tee off with all 4 players, and then you choose the best ball, and then whoever's ball you don't use off the tee, that's the player who hits next. And then that repeats on each hole. So he's about the same handicap as me, so it was nice because barring a huge surprise, we were going to have at least 1 ball in the fairway. So anyway, whatever. Things happen. What are you going to do? You can't be mad at anything, Not like anybody did anything wrong. And those are the rules, so whatever. That's part of the deal. Just a bad beat. Sometimes you got bad beats. What are you going to do? Get mad about it? Rub of the green, Jackson. That's what I say.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, do you follow... are you familiar with this girl, Gabby Golf Girl?
I'm not familiar with Gabby Golf Girl unless it's Gabby Carter.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't think of her last name. She's fun to watch on. I mean, I think a lot of her videos are edited because she makes like 7 chips in a row. I think she edits them all. But she's a good golfer, and she played in a U.S. Open qualifier for the women. And she got sick before opening round. And she went out and tried to play, but she saw a young girl who said, I drove 600 miles with my parents to come watch you play. And she felt so bad, she went out and played 2 holes because this girl came to watch her, and she just said, I couldn't do it. I was throwing up. I had to withdraw, but I felt bad. So things happen. You get sick, you can't play. I'm sure he would have tried to play, but you got a knee like that, you can't play if you can't stand on your leg.
Yeah, nothing you can do. So that's the way that it is.
I'm shocked at the following she's put
God,
together.
It's amazing, man.
I think she's 16 years old.
Yeah, she's got millions of people. She got sponsors.
Yeah. She's always doing like sponsored giveaways and whatnot. But yeah, she's got a big following.
She's got a good golf swing. But some of these things where she like, all right, I've got to make this chip from 20 yards, and she like does the Tiger thing with the thing, on the wedge, and then hits it and it goes in the hole. I mean, act surprised. It's probably your 50th try. I get it, but
what a stupid epic story.
I thought it was a good little story.
From the reluctant cock.
Sorry, it's a feel-good story, so screw that.
Huh? That story isn't even comparable. Harrison's brother master.
The whole point of the story was you try, and if you just can't, you can't play.
Now, how about this? You got support from Dotem. I'd buy stock in Gabby Golf Girl. She's a great golfer, produces good content, good personality for a kid. That's from Deke Dotem. How about that, Iggy? You got Dotem.
I agree with that.
Boy, Caller Ellen has sent in an image. Have you seen this? Mm-hmm. Anybody who's in the text inbox? I don't know who's in it. That ad, I mean, I had read the Last Supper theory, but then the image of The Sopranos and the way that it's set, and then Tony. Yeah, it's pretty well done.
Yeah, really well done. I mean,
as David Chase says, it's all there if you watch the scene.
The text in Sopranos is so dense. Like, there's so much. Game of Thrones has a lot of similar things where one line may mean 3 different things. Really good stuff.
All right, it's 8:40. We got a break. The Colonels, thoughts on upcoming camp. What's wrong, Jackson?
This guy really hates me.
Who's that?
Just the 314 really hates me.
Jackson scored a 24 on the ACT, which would be a 19 if he went to Hazelwood. Is that what you're talking about?
It's just not accurate, first of all. So whatever. Yeah, apparently, I'm not allowed to have an opinion.
All right. You can give your opinions on our opinions at 314-881-TMA5. South City Sporting Goods text inbox. Close out the Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. 7 o'clock hour here on TMA. Presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA All Day.
The choice of a lawyer is important and shouldn't be based on an ad.
If you're seriously hurt in an accident, you'll want all the money you deserve. That's called justice. But there wouldn't be lawyers if justice was easy. No, justice is not easy. It's fought for and it's won. At Brown and Crouppen, we fight for justice every day. If you want some, call 222-2222. Because at Brown and Crouppen, justice is our business.
Rosalita's Cantina is known for having the best patio and the best Tex-Mex in town. From carne con cerveza to shrimp diablo, the amazing menu at Rosalita's is full of classic Mexican dishes. Plus, it's always time for a margarita. Rosalita's has the most delicious house and specialty margs in town. Enjoy happy hour specials Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 and brunch at the De Pere location on Saturdays and Sundays from 10 to 3. Check out rosalitascantina.com or visit the downtown or De Pere location today. Time to get your fiesta on at Rosalita's.
Elevate your performance. Pure Performance is your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications, known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. It's officially Jeep and Bronco season. Pure Performance carries any accessory for your vehicle, old models to brand new. From sunshades, soft tops, trail doors, to off-road gear like bumpers and light bars, Pure Performance has you covered. Stop by the Pure Performance showroom at 3725 Harry S. Truman Boulevard in St. Charles or visit pureperformance.com. That's PURperformance.com.
Hey, it's Jackson. TMA listeners have a lot to think through financially, saving for retirement and college, while also paying bills and enjoying life along the way. Whether you are starting your financial planning or if you're already retired, call Mark Hanna. Mark works with you to design a financial strategy. His straightforward approach starts with a 15-minute phone call to discuss your financial needs. Visit evergreenstl.com or call 314-889-0503 today. Mark Hanna offers securities through Equitable Advisors, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC, and offers insurance and annuity products through Equitable Network, LLC.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is now right at your fingertips here in Illinois. Hi, I'm Derek Stevens. I'm a lifelong sports bettor, and I'm the owner of Circus Sports. We're excited about launching our Circus Sports app in Illinois. It's sports betting the way it should be, with high betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Start betting like a pro from anywhere in Illinois.
If you want a first-class, top-of-the-line, high-quality interior remodeling job, you know who I'm going to suggest. Collier & Thompson. Known for their kitchen and bathroom remodels, Collier & Thompson is where you go when you want your remodeling job done right the first time. Collier & Thompson doesn't just do large remodeling jobs. They do plenty of man caves, bars, offices, pretty much anything inside your home. Check out their 10,000-square-foot showroom next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House on Manchester. Let them bring your dream remodel to reality. CollierandThompson.com.
Hi, this is Chris Pondoff from Illinois Recovery Center. As someone who battled alcoholism and addiction for 20 plus years, I understand the dark places you can find yourself stuck in. Alcoholism and substance abuse takes a heavy toll on your body and your mind, but you can overcome it. Start your journey to recovery at the Illinois Recovery Center, a rehab treatment center that provides comprehensive and customized rehabilitation addiction treatment. If you or a loved one are struggling with addiction, please know that there is hope. Visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com today.
Hey guys, this is Doug Biggs from Longo Biggs Injury Law. We became sponsors of the show because we love this show. We were listeners for years before we started sponsoring. We love coming to the events, playing in the golf tournaments, even though I got demolished in the second round of the match play. But we love sponsoring the Dotem as well, and we'll miss it this year. Hopefully it comes back next year. If you were at one of these events, you might have met us out there and you found out we're a lot like the rest of the audience. We are the audience. You get hurt in an accident, you don't just have to take our word for it, you can take Tim's. If he knows someone that gets hurt, he's going to recommend us. Check us out at longobiggs.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Stupiracy, the podcast where stupidity meets history and conspiracy.
You gotta question these things.
With hosts Scott Rizzuto and Tim McKernan.
I'm here to learn, everybody!
Check out the latest episode, available now. As Riz and Tim explore the bizarre and fascinating medieval practice of kings sleeping together to signify unity and peace, of course.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sex? I don't know, man.
Discover how this unusual custom was perceived and whether it was merely symbolic or something more intimate.
Every day is hump day.
Presented by Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Visit evergreenstl.com or call Mark at 314-889-0503. And by Brown & Crouppen, 222-2222 or getbc.com.
The Tim McKernan Show podcast, featuring long-form interviews with people from the world of sports, politics, and entertainment.
And our guest today, Bill McClellan. Thanks so much for coming in.
Hey, my pleasure, Tim.
What's up, Caden?
Hi, how are you?
Joe Buck, our guest today.
Man, it's like I haven't seen you in years.
More than 500 episodes and counting, and it's available wherever you get your podcasts, including the TMA STL app. Get the app now at TMASTL.com.
And as moist as a freshly baked Betty Crocker cake?
It's the Brown & Crouppen Morning After.
KPN-TFM, HD2.
Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back. It's Balloon Party. It's TMA. So when I see it's just me and Jackson.
I was going to say, I was like, well, right now it is kind
Chairman
of
is not in. Iggy is not in. I had to use Little Wizards in the commercial break. Went out there. I mean, I gather. I mean, but I know a lot of people listen to this show or go back and podcast it who do not live in the St. Louis area and are natives of the area, but don't live here anymore. I haven't seen a storm like this at 8 in the morning. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I have, but this is unbelievable what's going on out in the St. Louis metropolitan area right now, at least where we are in Creve Coeur.
It's raining sideways out there.
To give you a point of reference, for those not familiar with exactly where we are, we're about 270 in Ballas in the St. Louis area. But it is something else. Holy crap. So I saw Riz in the commercial break, and I said, do you guys hear? He goes, oh, we can hear the thunder in our studio. Yeah. You know, we're kind of in a little bit of a different part of the building. But this is something else. And usually, I mean, it can happen, of course, but I feel like storms more like this or late afternoon kind of storms. This is something else. I don't know if there's damage in the area, but holy crap. This is something else.
Yeah. Well, either last week or 2 weeks ago, we had that storm pop up seemingly out of nowhere that was just torrential and was flooding the place like crazy. So anytime these early morning storms come in, I feel like flood warnings are more germane.
It's the 8 o'clock hour, and you are welcome to get involved on the show by calling in 636-9004-TMA. Collier and Thompson phone lines. South City Sporting Goods text inbox 314-881-TMA5, and you can email in for the design, air, heating, and cooling email of the day. Chairman Kurt, you said we will not be playing our match today based on these conditions.
It sure doesn't look like it. I wouldn't want to put the players in that kind of position.
Well, if that's the case and people feel like it is not by the rules, then I will forfeit my match to Paul Winters is the gentleman I am playing, and because it was my schedule, not his schedule. He was ready to play whenever. My schedule, not his schedule, that was keeping us from being able to play, and therefore it would not be right for him to be subjected to a coin flip. So hopefully we would be able to play, but if it's raining like this, obviously, the course wouldn't even be open, right, you know. Right. So that's not a choice. But I don't want to put you in the position where you catch crap for inconsistencies when it's my responsibility, and so hey, this is what you get when you wait till the last minute. But yeah, based on what I'm seeing out there, holy crap, that was eye-opening. I didn't expect that to be as brutal as well. I could hear the rain, but it's just like so dark and the thunder. Holy crap! Were you out there having darts, or were you like in the garage area?
I went to LL.
You went what?
LL, lower level.
Okay.
LL Bean.
Garage.
LL Bean.
It's so quiet down there. You could barely hear the rain down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Could you see it?
No, there's where the smoke designated smoking area is right by the door, so you can't really see outside. So, nice and quiet.
Happy now, Kirk?
No, this is not the outcome I was hoping for.
For the record, I think it's a good decision.
What are you talking about?
Kurt's decision that you guys, if you don't get in today, play when you can.
Oh, well, you weren't in here when I was saying, but it's inconsistent with
I said that too.
The rules.
Yeah.
So therefore, I should forfeit.
Why should you forfeit?
Because
the other guy can't play either.
No, but he was available to play the last few weeks. I was not able to play. You see what I'm saying? I couldn't play this weekend. I had something the previous weekend too. I can't remember what it was, but whatever. Either way, I know I wasn't available, and it's just the way that it works.
I don't think the other guy wants to win. I don't know the other guy. Jonathan Winters?
Jonathan Winters was on the Rams board. He also was on Mork and Mindy. This is Paul.
Mork and Mindy?
Mork and Mindy?
He played the
With
father.
Robin Williams?
He played the father, I think. Yeah, I don't know this guy, but I'm sure he doesn't want to win by forfeit.
$2,600.
Yeah, maybe he does.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that he does, but I'm saying he should not be penalized. And I would not be good with me advancing because of a coin flip. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, just play the match when you can. I agree with
that. But then KG catches crap.
Oh, who cares? He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I honestly don't care.
These are people, you're right, there's these people bitching that aren't even in the thing.
Mr. Licks was in it. And Mr. Licks, has the highest respect rating amongst the audience, I think.
Well, he is a guy that should be pissed off because he was forfeited by Kirk because he couldn't play because his wife broke an arm or something.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Amen.
At the PCC.
Amen. That's the deal. It is the 8 o'clock hour here on TMA. TMA is brought to you by Brown and Crouppen. Do we have a Doug live read?
We do.
Okay, let's take a listen.
Yeah, Brown and Crouppen.
That'll allow me to suckle on this banana for you YouTube viewers. Watch me deep throat this thing. Yeah.
If you have a potential personal injury case, Brown & Crouppen is a local law firm here to serve you. We've all gotten to know Terry Crouppen and Andy Crouppen and Ed Herman very well in their appearances here on The Morning After. Wonderful guys, and the kind of guys you would like to have in your corner if you have a personal injury case. They'll give you that free evaluation. They'll work on a contingency basis, no upfront costs at all to you. If you don't get paid, they don't get paid, and they've won more than $1 billion in compensation for the clients. They are the local law firm that is on your side. They've grown into one of the largest personal injury firms in the entire Midwest. If you think you may need Brown & Crouppen services, call them at 314-222-2222 or go to brownandcrouppen.com. Make sure to let them know you heard about it here on TMA. Remember, the choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising. Past results are no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own accord.
There's Doug talking Brown and Crouppen, title sponsor of TMA, Doug Vacationing in the Hamptons. Coming up throughout the course of the week, we will have a variety of different lines coming in to fill in. Maddie, Joey Vitale, and Michael Wellington, some combination there of Wellington, by the way, when his player withdrew from the PGA Tour Champions British Open, was going to try to play St. Andrews, didn't, but played another course over in Scotland on Friday. He'll be back. He'll be in. Joey Vitale, I believe, and Maddie are in tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not sure what the actual arrangement is, but either way, I know that has been set up. A Mentality online at lowtusa.com. Go to lowtusa.com. Mentality is a local healthcare facility specifically dedicated helping men feel and perform at their very best. It doesn't matter what age you are. Low testosterone can be an issue with any guy, even if you've tried testosterone before. Not everyone understands the blood chemistry in men's bodies. Mentality can help. Testosterone therapy helps men regain normal function and restores the ability to perform normally at all levels. I've been tested out there. Super easy performance in and out. And if you're dealing with low energy, weight gain, muscle loss, you're tired all the time, those can be symptoms of low testosterone. Go online at lowtusa.com and check out Mentality. lowtusa.com. All right, I have deep teased what the Colonel wrote this morning at PowerMizzou.com. And here it is. This is my 22nd consecutive season covering Mizzou. 24, if you want to include the two I did at KOMU in college. It is unlike any other
in terms of the buildup. There is always excitement. I truly don't think there has ever been excitement like this. In 2008, Missouri fans believed they had the pieces to make a run at the whole thing, but they knew that meant being one of the top 2 teams, and they knew one loss almost certainly ended those chances. That loss came in Week 7 to Oklahoma State, and the air went out of the balloon after that. It simply felt like there was nothing left to play for. That will not be the case this year. After Missouri's first loss, assuming it occurs, everything will still be on the table. Losing to A&M or Alabama or even Auburn will not end the playoff chances. It will reduce the margin for error. The second loss, if it happens, would make for a nervous few days at the least. But the season is not over after one bad day, and that is the biggest impact of the 12-team playoff. I expect this season to be an interesting psychological study for the fan base. All are very excited now, but the games have not started. Nothing bad can actually happen for at least 6 weeks. Once the games do start, I expect there to be 2 ways people will consume this season. The first group will live every day counting down until the next game with an enthusiasm they've never had for Mizzou football before. The second group will live every day in constant fear, wondering if the next day is the day this dream season gets derailed. I don't mean that to sound insulting or a joke. It isn't. That's the 2 camps of fans there are. I think one group of fans enjoys the highs of its team more than it hates the lows. That's the group that will look at this season optimistically. I believe the second type of fan is the one to whom losing hurts more than winning feels good. Wins are a relief. Losses are a dagger. For those fans, this fall is going to be stressful, like few they've ever experienced. To borrow a line from Sam Mellinger, I believe he was a columnist at the Kansas City Star, may still be. I can't tell you how to fan. Everyone has his own approach. If I was in your shoes, I'd try to enjoy the hell out of it. There's no guarantee you're back in the same spot next year or the year after that. If you don't throw caution to the wind and enjoy the ride, why even get in line? That is Gabe DeArmond this morning on PowerMizzou.com.
Love that. Love the way he writes about that. I can tell you that I feel like I'm a little bit of both in a way, where like I love when Missouri wins and I hate it when they lose. But I've never really in my like true adult life had a season with expectations for Mizzou football, like real expectations. Like we talk about 08, but I was really young for that. 14, I don't feel like the expectations were near what they are for this season.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think the expectations are the highest they've ever been.
Right.
2008 would only be the only other one that would be comparable.
Yeah. So this is kind of uncharted territory in the win as a relief theory. Like I think there's a lot of teams on the schedule where a win will feel more like a relief than a triumph. Unlike last year where like I felt like in a way like the Kentucky game was kind of a triumph. But I don't think that'll be the case this year. Like even like he mentions Auburn, like lost Auburn, like beating Auburn to me, like in my mind, and this might be right or wrong, is like almost an expectation. And that probably is wrong, but that's where my mindset is right now. So again, uncharted territory this season, but it doesn't hurt the enthusiasm. I have as much enthusiasm as I've ever had.
One of the reasons for the optimism and expectation is something that is outside of Missouri's control, and that is the schedule. The schedule is so favorable relative to other schools in the SEC and probably around college football, but I can only speak to the SEC. Here is some data from Bill Conley, who actually is a Missouri grad, and he does the SP Plus rating throughout the course of the season. You want to do some overs, unders? Chairman Kern, I'm going to turn to you just because I like to do the guessing games with Doug and see where you are, especially now that you're coaching and running the TMA Dynasty League, which is embroiled in controversy. There are 2 huge controversial things over the weekend. I didn't know about either one coming in here. And that is this Last Supper thing in this TMA college football league Dynasty. How many teams are in it?
30.
So approximately 16% are cheating.
The math on that would tend to check out.
All right. What are the odds of Georgia winning the SEC? These are percentages, by the way. Per Bill Conley, SP Plus rating. ESPN.
35%.
Pretty good. 31.9. Who do you think is next?
Roll Tide.
No, I'm sorry.
Texas?
That's correct. What do you think their percentage is?
27%.
No, I'm sorry, 15.8. Next is Roll Tide, 14.1%. Next after that, who do you think it is?
Missouri.
No, I'm sorry.
Ole Miss?
That's correct. What do you think their percentage is to win the SEC?
9%.
Pretty good, 10.7%. Who do you think's next?
Go back to Missouri.
No, I'm sorry.
Oklahoma?
No, I'm sorry. I got a pretty good air horn. I really do like it.
A mouth horn.
Yeah, boy mouth horn.
I don't know, Tim.
Fire a bullet. I mean, you got choices. I need a team. Just fire one out there. I mean, you can say name any team.
Just say A&M.
A&M, yeah, that's the one I was going to go with. I don't
No, I'm
believe
sorry.
it, but I'm just throwing a name out there.
LSU, 9.1. And then we get to Missouri. He's got them at 6.7% for the record. A&M, 4.4%. Why do I bring that up? Because I just gave you approximately 50% of the SEC, and Missouri only plays 2 of those teams.
Right.
Then you get to teams that are given 0.1% chance to round out the Final Four of the 16 teams in the SEC, and Missouri plays them. Carolina, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt. And for the record, Auburn is given 0.4% chance Missouri plays them. Oklahoma, huge brand name, 2.8% chance, behind Tennessee and behind A&M. So that is what I'm talking about with regard to the reason nationally when people talk about Missouri is the schedule.
The 2 teams in front of them, Alabama who's the other one that they play? Ole Miss, LSU.
I left the screenshot.
I'm sorry.
And
is that the
Alabama?
Yeah, that's it.
A&M's right behind them.
So that's the only team that they play that's actually in front of them?
That's correct.
No, that's not bad.
So that is the reason. And Missouri's schedule, for the record, per Bill Conley, the strength of schedule ranking nationally. For example, Florida's is ranked number 1, which is hard for me to believe that somebody's got a tougher schedule than Georgia, but I haven't really been paying much attention to Florida's schedule.
It's a gauntlet, isn't it?
Well, it's got to be if it's ranked number 1 in the country, because Georgia's is ranked 5th, and I'm like, whose schedule is tougher than Georgia's? Pull up Florida. Somebody pull up.
I got it. They got Miami, A&M, Tennessee.
They have to have. They play Georgia.
Texas, LSU, Ole Miss.
Jeez, Mary and Joseph.
Georgia, Texas, LSU in a row.
Georgia, Texas, LSU.
Where are those
Ole
games
Miss,
at?
And
or Billy
Florida
Napier.
State.
Where those 3 games? Where are they at?
They are at Georgia, at Texas, at home against LSU, and at home against Ole Miss.
That's brutal.
And then neutral
for
side
Florida State.
What's their
neutral on Georgia too?
World's largest
cocktail party.
Their non-conference, Florida State, Miami.
Yeah, Florida State, Miami.
That's rough.
UCF.
That's no fun.
Point being, Florida's schedule's ranked 1st in the country. Mississippi State's is ranked 2nd. South Carolina's is ranked 4th. Oklahoma's is ranked 3rd. I mean, all the top schedules in the country, I guess, fittingly, are in the SEC. Number 5 is Georgia. Number 6 is Arkansas. Number 7 is Vanderbilt. Number 8 is Auburn. Number 9 is Kentucky. Number 10 is Alabama. And then you go outside of the SEC. I don't know who it is because I just have the SEC schools pulled up. Nobody has a schedule ranked lower than 23rd in the country with the exception of one team, the Missouri Tigers. So that is a reason for the optimism. And but you also have a bunch of players returning. I bring that up because if you do play out the season and Missouri goes 10-2, they could be in a spot, again, depending on what other schools do, that a 9-3 team that has one of those difficult schedules in the SEC, would they get the nod over Missouri at 10-2? Then you could have that going on. I love that there are expectations, something that I have talked about for more than 2 decades before TMA. probably talked about it on television as well, is my frustration with a portion of the Missouri fan base that had this "we can never be great" mindset, well, we went to a bowl, it was a good year. I just never agreed with that. And then like people on the outside of the Missouri fan, well, Missouri sucks, and that's fine. You don't like it, but they can't be good. It was a mistake to go to the SEC. That was a talking point for a while. Of course, you don't hear it now, but that was a talking point for a while. And I mean, my God, it might be one of the greatest decisions athletically that Missouri has ever made. And that I don't think that's results oriented based on what we've seen with the SEC. With that all established, with the expectations can also come some lack of reason. And of course, when there is a loss, even if there aren't high expectations, there is high emotion. There were high emotion in 2022 when there were not high expectations. Take your pick of whichever game you would want. Probably the Auburn one would be one of the most familiar ones as far as a devastating loss, but the Kentucky punt thing was another one. I bring that up because if somehow they were to lose to somebody other than A&M, Alabama, or Oklahoma, or if they were to lose all three, a 9-3 season, I wouldn't consider some epic failure. Mm-hmm. But I think that what Gabe is writing about is with these expectations come this unique balance. So expectations, while I'm all for them, hey, if Luther Burden gets hurt, I mean, the bottom drops out, substantially, probably more so for Missouri than any other team that's in the mix to win the conference title. In other words, they're leveraged. He's a great player, but I don't know, like Brock Bowers was hurt for Georgia last year much of the season, and they still trudged on.
Lad McConkey was the one who was dunking on him.
Take your pick. I can recall about a decade ago. I can't recall which it was. It was a Gurley got hurt, and then Nick Chubb came in. I mean, that's what those operations have. What would the drop off be if Brady Cook got hurt? I don't know. I'm not sure because we haven't necessarily seen what direction they would go and who they. But that's what I'm trying to. I have high expectations, and I am hopeful. That is for sure. But I also. It's also about trending and are things continuing to go in a positive direction, and trying to maintain some observing of, in order to go 9-3, you have to win every game that you're at the moment expected to win. But I keep going back to one of these teams in the SEC is going to be much better than was expected, and one of these teams is going to be much worse than was expected. And ideally for Missouri, they're not the latter, and ideally for Missouri on their schedule is not the former. Or if they are, then Missouri beats them, then which benefit the strength of the schedule. But this is a unique setting for Missouri football fans and for Missouri in the realm of college football, that there is an expectation that they could be playing a college football playoff game. That has never existed as far as an expectation. I think there was hope in 2008. I don't recall on 2014. They went to the SEC championship game, but I think everybody would agree that team wasn't as good as the 13 team or the 07 team, and not the past year's team. This is a different set of circumstances. So as camp opens here in 2 hours and 7 minutes, I love it because it used to be when we would talk Missouri football, in particular on 101, this is always kind of a bit different because people just like to take a side and crap on it. On 101, it was just crickets. Yeah. So I love that Missouri football is becoming another season in St. Louis sports. If anything, I would say we need it here. And so people will either be invested cheering for them, who are not normally invested cheering for them, or people will be invested cheering against them, who normally didn't really care because it was like, well, they're a 6-6 program, so who really gives a damn? Like, is there a lot of passion around here for Illinois football unless you went there or live on the Illinois side? No, but that's where Missouri was just a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. This is a different set of circumstances with these expectations, and that, to me, is a great thing. They just come with downside, but that's the deal. In order to think championship, if you don't live up to it, understandably, there is going to be some consternation.
What's the total?
9.5.
Over under? Betting line 9.5?
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right. I'd probably take under.
I would take under, but that doesn't mean I'm not betting it because I don't want to be cheering against Missouri.
Yeah, it's too tough. Last year, it seemed like a real opportunity with the over. I don't think that that's the case right now. But, I mean, you're, like, Brady Cook getting hurt could be, like, who knows what, because he is so versatile. You know, we finally got to see what he looks like throwing the ball deep last year and how effective that can be. But his ability to extend plays is one of his biggest strong suits. And if he's even hobbled, that could make a huge turn on the season. You know, how many games or how many touchdowns were decided by Brady Cook squeezing out one more step to get a throw off or running it in for a first down? You know, it's a major part of it. And injuries happen every year.
Speaking of high expectations, I don't think I can emphasize enough that she just strolled in with a little spaghetti strap tank top right in the middle of minced meat pie night, and she seriously thought my dad would be okay with it. Those vulvas were always pushing the envelope of decency. Anyways, you guys want to hear about my text exchange with Chris Bird asking if he can connect me with my 4th grade sock hop date, or the time I took a rope of piss to my face when I hid under a bush after banging my aunt. That's from the Vulva family of texters.
Well, you put so many things in there in so many different orders. It didn't happen. No, that asparagus broth is unbelievable. Dotem. Come over, I'll spray you with some.
There you go. Not taking a shot. If the schedule is the leading reason why your team will succeed, it's not going to go well. Mizzou is talented, but it's so much more likely the fans turn on drink this season than they make the playoff. That's from Steven time.
I don't think that's the leading reason.
I don't think so either.
I think returning stars.
When national analysts talk about Missouri, the schedule is absolutely brought up.
I think it's an important factor. Absolutely, I think it's an important factor. But when we're talking college football playoff team, schedule alone can't get, especially in the SEC.
Well, I think, again, kind of like expectations, I think it can work against you, which is why I continue to point out that I think the 10-2 thing could be quite a situation if a 9-3 had a, you know, I don't know if Florida would necessarily be that team, but one of these schools that I listed that had a top 5 schedule ranking. And then they wind up being 9-3, and Missouri's 10-2, and maybe got blown off the field in one of them. You see what I'm saying?
Especially with the self-cannibalization that the SEC leads itself to.
Well, that's the excuse they use every year too, when they name the teams or the 4 teams, and there's the dais with 8 different people bitching, and they bring the guy who's in charge of the committee on. He goes, how can you leave a team with no losses? Well, you look at strength of schedule. Or you look at the conference. You look at strength of schedule. And they're always talking about strength of schedule.
Well, for me, the turning point was last year in that Georgia game. I mean, I was beating the drum of that team being better than what people thought. But the way and I don't usually like to take spirit wins, but the way they played at Georgia last year and being right there, I felt like it showed that team could play with anybody in any environment in the country. And that's where my mind shift kind of shifted to, this team is a legitimate team. And with them bringing most of the team back, I mean, I have crazy high expectations. They showed me a lot in that Georgia game, even in a loss.
But I mean, there have been some substantial losses on the defensive side of the ball and the defensive coordinator. I mean, those are 2 material losses. But with respect to just isolating on the Georgia thing, I couldn't agree more with you. That was it for me. But it wasn't about like the outcome being close. It was about watching the trenches and how, I don't even know if I would say held serve. I think they actually outplayed them. And that was the thing that, again, outplayed being like 52-48. It wasn't, domination. But I'm just like, I've never seen that as a lifelong Missouri fan. Guys, as a Tennessee fan for 3 decades, I can tell you high expectations are great until they fall through, which has happened to Tennessee a lot. High expectations are like thinking you're going to have sex that night and then being turned down. Having low expectations and doing well is like going to the bar thinking you're just hanging out with your buddies and instead up banging out at 10 in your car later that night. Give me the second scenario all day long. That's from Lance Painter, Tennessee Volunteers fan.
No doubt. But even if, like what Tim's talking about, like a 9-3, like they lose to A&M, Bama, and Oklahoma. 9-3, and then people are disappointed. That raises the floor. That raises people's mindset when it comes to Missouri football, where winning 8 games and going to a bowl is no longer deemed this great season.
8 games is a lot different than the 6 and 7 crap. To me.
Right, I get what you're saying there, but either way, it raises the floor of expectations of what Missouri football can be. We've gotten a little taste of what they can be, and we want all of it.
Well, I think it has to do with the schedule, too. If Mizzou had Florida's schedule, or had Georgia's schedule, would the expectations be as high?
They still have expectations, but yeah, I'm sure they'd be tempered a little bit when you look. They would be the first thing people say is like, well, "I'm really excited for Mizzou football," but have you seen their schedule?
Hey, James Carlton is here. I'm sure he'll want to talk about this as well. Iggy, would you mind opening up the door and bringing James in? James Carlton, Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency, online at carltoninsurance.net. 100 West Dental is online at 100westdental.com. That's 100westdental.com. And if you mention my name, you get $1,000 off an Invisalign package. If you're on the fence about Invisalign, they have a digital scanner that can show you a simulation of what it'll look like before you even go through with it. You can call 636-585-0100. They built brand new offices right across from Mungan and St. Louis Acura with the most modern technology with the patient experience front of mind. And if you don't have dental insurance, it's not a problem. The membership plan aids in the cost of dental work for those who do not have dental insurance. Mention my name, get $1,000 off an Invisalign package at 100 West Dental. You can schedule your appointment right now just by going to 100westdental.com or call 636-585-0100 and work with Dr. Brandon Pryor, 100westdental.com. And we only have a couple more days to sign up to be the Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month. Welcome to a brighter side of tequila with Milagro. Go online to sign up. You can keep your anonymity. TMASTL.com. That's where you can go to sign up to compete with the greats for the Milagro Tequila Listener of the Month. And coming up in about a half hour, we'll have the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email today, the morning after at InsideSTL.com, the morning after at InsideSTL.com. And we have a great battle going on between three-way trade deal, Buck Swope, and the Coalition. JV golf coach has to win the next three to force a one-game playoff, or else his winning streak will come to an end after 3 straight months. James, good morning.
Good morning, fellas. I can't wait to get this hat in. I just ordered mine last week.
TMASTLshop.com. Wonderful work. Let me show them to the audience. Great work, Chairman Kurt.
Thanks.
And Jackson. And
I was going to say Jackson had a lot to do with that, too.
Yeah. It's TMASTLshop.com. 5 different hats. Did you hear our Missouri discussion, sir?
It's on in the break room, but I can't say you can hear very well.
Okay.
So
what I was talking about is what Gabe wrote this morning on PowerMizzou.com.
Yeah, I read
this
that.
Season is the highest expectations in his 24 years covering Missouri football. I would agree with his analysis.
Certainly for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of it. I mean, we always go back to 08, but I think this is another level because of the format, right?
I couldn't agree more.
That's
yes, if you had a different format, different deal.
Right.
Because then I would say,
No margin
okay,
for
they've
error.
probably got to go undefeated.
Right. Yeah.
This is a different set of circumstances. And then furthermore, there's this little carrot out there of even if you don't win the SEC, that means you have the possibility of being one of the 4 schools to host a home game on campus in December. Oh, my goodness. God almighty.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about something on Balloon Party about, I think a texter emailed in, or a caller, excuse me, not a texter texted in about, could you ever become emotional about a sporting event again? Maybe that would get me, you know? If I'm hosting a playoff game in Columbia and I'm attending that, that would be pretty special. But that 2019 Blue season, like I said, when we did our spot on Balloon Party last week, that's going to be almost impossible to top.
Yeah.
For me, at least. I mean, that was 2 months of every other night just back and forth. And I was thinking, and I couldn't tell you this on a 60-second spot, but in 06 for that World Series, I had asked off, I was working at Emo's in Columbia at the time, delivering pizzas, and I had asked off for every single game of that World Series. But if you remember, there was a rain out.
There was. That's right.
And all of a sudden, I'm closing on that Friday night
that they won the World Series
until 3 a.m.
Oh my God!
So I'm listening to that call, almost like in tears because I can't be celebrating with everybody else in the 5-7-3 that evening. And so I never really counted that 06 one. It never felt like it was there for me because I was born in '84, so I didn't see '82.
Yeah.
And then 11 happens, and that one was like that was so much. I mean, obviously because of Game 6, but it was even that much more sweet for me because I was there. I mean, I was there and present and watching and all that. Can you imagine asking off every single game? I was so excited for that 06 Tiger series. And then you get rained out and you have one choice to make. You quit your job and leave them hanging on a busy night. Or you have to go through it and close till 3 a.m.
Brutal, man.
So,
the Cardinals had the same thing in 2011 with a rain out, and that led them into the World Series on a Friday night again.
Yeah, so that was interesting. But the Mizzou hosting a playoff game would certainly be right up there in terms of emotions, I suppose. I will say, as just doing like an anecdotal Gallup poll, observing around town, you know, whether it's the zoo or Schnucks, just random places. What do you think would be the most common local gear you see people wearing?
Outside of City, the Chiefs.
So,
and I'm not saying that really satirically.
I don't know. So the City's certainly number one.
I'm in awe.
Certainly number one is City.
I mean, it's tough for me to imagine. Like, if you take a Cardinal cap out of it, which is almost more like St. Louis than those Cardinals for some people, I think it might be the Chiefs. I'm dead serious.
I've just noticed a lot more Tiger gear.
Well, sure.
I really have than ever before.
I mean, we have a texter here. I'm more interested in Mizzou football than the Cardinals, and that is truly shocking to me.
Yeah.
It's from the Crestwood Coyote, and I'm gathering that means he probably didn't go to school there. And that if you were to actually operate this on kind of, a premise for why Missouri has never gotten to date the level of, certainly take your pick of, I think, almost any other SEC school, with the Vanderbilt's an outlier. It's because in those states, your loyalty to a program is not based on being an alma mater or being your alma mater, or that your kids went there, or that your dad went there, your mom went there. It's based on that's what you were brought up with, and it has nothing to do. It has to do with where you grew up. And Missouri, which is why when we talk about it, historically, like I told you, I know we've told the story before, but when you were doing the thing on Balloon Party with Gabe's report in 22, I'm just like, hey, man, you're welcome to keep doing it. But there is so little interest. Like, we could say anything, even Jackson's, NBA updates, they'll react, whether it's negative or positive.
I've been in there and seen it,
But when the Mizzou stuff would going on with Gabe, it was just like nothing. And then last year, it certainly was engagement, understandably so. But what I'm noticing this year is anticipation. And so in a way, much less expectation being important, but the expectation and then living up to it. So these people who if they go 6-6 this year, will go, okay, that was a huge letdown. I'm out. I'm not going to let you cry wolf again next year, that you deliver on it. That somehow November 9th against Oklahoma, ideally either a 2:30 game or a 7 o'clock game, and it will be one or the other because they've already determined the windows, means something huge to the point that a bunch of people are going down to Columbia from St. Louis, Kansas City, Springfield, wherever. People are flying in from, and that game matters. That's huge. I'm telling you, the LSU 11 o'clock thing was a brutal thing, a bad beat. That stuff can't happen anymore. You already know the schedule, and Auburn's an early game, and Boston College is an early game, but at least Oklahoma's. So you want them to be, at worst, in a one-loss spot and, competing for something against a school that, has a huge brand name but doesn't have the expectations that Oklahoma normally has.
I don't know if you can ask for more than that. That's
Yeah.
November 9th. Yeah,
November
if you're
9th.
one loss or less by November 9th, I don't think you can have a more anticipated home atmosphere than that, right? I mean, think
Because you're still playing for
because
something.
Oklahoma, when they beat them in 2010, I mean, that was early. It's like, the 5th or 6th game of the year. And they didn't have
It was mid-late October.
Was it? But they didn't have any national champions. I know they were probably top 15 or so, but I don't think there was national championship aspirations at that point, were there, for Mizzou?
Well, they were undefeated.
Were they?
And they just beat the number one team.
But
in the
I just,
country.
me mentally, it was never at the point that I would be at if it's November 9th with a 12-team playoff format and you're hosting that game.
So much it's about the format.
Right. So that would be, I can't think of a more anticipated home game than that. I mean, I know there was some in the early, Brad Smith and Chase Daniel times, but again, because of the format, you never really felt like you had that carrot out there against Nebraska and those 2 wins they had in 03 and then 07. I just don't think they were to the level of what we'd anticipate against Oklahoma. And I know there's a lot going on Twitter between Oklahoma and Mizzou, and that adds to it as well. I mean, that might be a fraction of the fan base that follows that, like me.
I'm a fan, and I'm completely unaware of it.
Oh, really? Oh, because of the transfers,
Well,
because
I
of
was
the
unaware
recruiting
of Iggy's
battles.
Last Supper thing also.
Yeah, so I'm tuned out on that too. So I didn't
is
know
that right?
I didn't know about that either. But so the Caden Green, who was out of Kansas City, Lee Summit North, just like Williams Winery, when he committed to Oklahoma, that was a bad beat for Mizzou. Well, now he transferred and went to Mizzou and is probably going to be the starting left guard. And then they had Williams Winery, obviously, who committed to Mizzou over Oklahoma. Theo Weiss obviously transferred. Luther Burden. I mean, there's been a lot of things swaying in the Tigers' favor in that, and that doesn't sit well with these Oklahoma fans. And so that's a big game to them too. I don't care what their record is because they have a harder schedule than Mizzou, no doubt. I think they have 2 games early on that they could lose, like Tennessee maybe early on, and somebody else. I mean, they could have 2 losses in September and still be a really good football team. I can't wait.
Murray State, you'll be there.
I will.
Buffalo, you'll be there.
Yep.
Boston College, you'll be there.
To be determined on that one.
Vanderbilt.
Maybe.
Okay. Then the next home game would be War Eagle.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely for that. And the Bama one, I tried. I mean, I tried really hard to make it work. There's not a lot of hotel options in Tuscaloosa. So you're looking at staying in, where was it? Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to get a ride. The ride is the challenge. You have to hail a shuttle service if you want to have some drinks.
Is it an hour, Birmingham?
Yeah, and it's going to cost you $2,500, so you need a group to spend that with you. You know, you're not going to, you and your wife aren't going to get a $2,500 shuttle, right? So the expenses just got out of control, and I always wanted, that's one of the few ones I haven't been to is Tuscaloosa, and this one could really matter, and it could be winnable, and so that one's not going to happen, but another year. But I'll beat Oklahoma, absolutely, for sure.
Are you saying we need to look into taking a TMA party bus down to Tuscaloosa?
Now I'm interested in that. I've done the Rosadante. I've done that.
You've done Rosadante? That's right, you did do that.
I married that redhead.
Yes, that's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's James Carlton.
All right,
He's online
guys, have
at
a great week.
CarltonInsurance.net, 314-961-4800. He's my insurance agent. I'd like him to become yours as well. Send your emails in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email today. It comes your way at about 9:50. Then Jackson and I will go down the hallway, and we'll have the Little Piddles weekend wrap-up. How good do you feel about this?
Good. And
if you want $50... anytime something appeals to you for a balloon party deep dive, and then I just put it in an email folder, T. McKernan at InsideSTL.com. Macro topics, ideally. So just as an FYI, and then you can also email in for QFTA, TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. It's 9:26. We close out the 8 o'clock hour. Schaefer Door Company, 9 o'clock hour coming your way. This is TMA, presented to you by Brown & Crouppen.
Biggie's Restaurant and Bar has been a staple of the community for over 30 years and is serving your favorites like a steak sandwich, waffle fries, and so much more. It's not just the food that's rocking. With a full bar and patio, Biggie's is the perfect spot for lunch, dinner, and a little laughter. Biggie's original hours are back. Open 11 a.m. till midnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And 11 a.m. till 1 a.m. on Friday and Saturday. Check out the full menu at biggiesrestaurant.com and stop in today.
Hey everyone, CD Longo from Longo Biggs Injury Law here. We want to make it clear, if you get injured and you hire us, Doug or I will be your attorney. You may speak with our staff, but the majority of the communication will be with us. We get to know our clients, we become friends with our clients, and we feel a responsibility to get the best outcomes. We're happy to say that we consistently get compensation on our cases that is much higher than the national and local average. If you need help, find all of our information at longobigs.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
The biggest pro football contests in Vegas are back. Circa Survivor and Circa Million are now up to a record $16 million in guaranteed prizes. 2 ways to win and no rake. Circa Survivor contestants select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all with $10 million guaranteed. In Circa Million, make 5 picks against the spread each week for your share of $6 million guaranteed through quarterly and full season payouts. Enter in Nevada. Play from anywhere. Visit circasports.com for details.
When we think of a real estate agent, we think of somebody simply selling our home or finding us a new one. I mean, they're all the same, right?
Okay, here's the comps. We'll take some pics, we'll post them, and I'll get back to you, okay?
A home is life-changing, and your real estate agent should reflect that. Honesty, integrity, and someone who will go above and beyond to make your dreams come true.
The Jeff Lotman Group with Compass Realty. We're different because you're different. We want what you want. Experience the difference today at jefflotman.com, bringing people and properties together.
Hey, this is Tim McKernan, and I am here with Seth Goldcamp of Design Air Heating and Cooling, and I have been a long-time Design Air client. What separates you guys from everybody else?
It's becoming more common for companies to just get their foot in the door. They try to come up with different ways to upsell. They try to see how much they can make off of a customer as opposed to, hey, we're in there to do a service. We're going to do it well. We're going to do it for a fair price.
I don't know how many emails I have received from our listeners who experienced the incredible customer service Design Air Heating and Cooling provides. It's Design Air Heating and Cooling, online at designairservice.com.
If you want a first-class, top-of-the-line, high-quality interior remodeling job, you know who I'm going to suggest. Collier & Thompson. Known for their kitchen and bathroom remodels, Collier & Thompson is where you go when you want your remodeling job done right the first time. Collier & Thompson doesn't just do large remodeling jobs. They do plenty of man caves, bars, offices, pretty much anything inside your home. Check out their 10,000-square-foot showroom next to Uncle Bill's Pancake House on Manchester. Let them bring your dream remodel to reality. CollierandThompson.com.
This is wide receiver Luther Burden III. Come support NIL and get a quote from my friend James Carlson.
Thanks, Luther. That's right. For every quote you mention, Luther Burden III will make a donation to NIL on your behalf. Getting a quote is easy. Just go online at carltoninsurance.net. Call or text 314-961-4800. If you have drivers under the age of 25, if you're seeing rising rates, give us a call or text us 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. Let's keep the momentum going.
Stupiracy, the podcast where stupidity meets history and conspiracy.
You gotta question these things.
With hosts Scott Rizzuto and Tim McKernan.
I'm here to learn, everybody!
Check out the latest episode, available now. As Riz and Tim explore the bizarre and fascinating medieval practice of kings sleeping together to signify unity and peace, of course.
What do guys like besides pizza and morning sacks?
I don't know, man.
Discover how this unusual custom was perceived and whether it was merely symbolic or something more intimate.
Every day is hump day.
Presented by Evergreen Wealth Strategies. Visit evergreenstl.com or call Mark at 314-889-0503. And by Brown & Crouppen, 222-2222 or getbc.com.
Want to take on some legends of TMA?
Sound the same to someone who gives a damn about the best fans in baseball. Tired of it.
The show's so great. Will there be a little speaker system out behind the dumpster so in case you're servicing me, I'll be able to hear my name?
Then nominate yourself to be this month's TMA Listener of the Month. And if you win, you'll get recognition and other stuff. Sometimes all you have to do to win the prize is be a female.
All it takes is one fake girl to just throw this show completely off course.
Give us your name, a photo, and other pertinent information at TMASTL.com. The TMA Listener of the Month Club, quenched by Milagro Tequila. Welcome to a brighter side of tequila with Milagro. Find out more at TMASTL.com. Hey, if you like the morning after, check out Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. HD1, by the way. It's sports talk with Tim McKernan and Action Jackson from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. each weekday, right after the morning after. It's the worst named show in the history of radio, but the content's pretty good, so check it out on 101 ESPN or get the podcast on the TMA app. KPN-TFM HD2, Collinsville, St. Louis. This is TMA all day.
You gotta be on acid to understand what's going on this show.
It's the Brown & Crouppen Morning After.
KPN-TFM HD2,
Collinsville, St. Louis.
Welcome back to TMA, and it's presented to you by Brown & Crouppen. Timothy Michael McKernan, Jackson Bennett Burkett, Kenneth Iggy Strode, Chairman Kurt with you, Doug Vaughn vacationing this week. A combination on different days. I don't know which days they are, though. I know Joey Vitale, I know Matty, I know Michael Wellington, assuming he's not jet-lagged. Some kind of mixing and matching will be with us here throughout the course of the week. Doug back a week from today as he's vacationing in the Hamptons. A tweet just sent out by John Heyman, baseball columnist at the New York Post, and of the MLB Network, says the Cardinals are pushing for Eric Fetty. Nothing definitive, but there is some momentum there. He does not reference who would be going to Chicago should that happen. The Royals, he notes, as I scroll down his timeline, are among many teams interested in Michael Lorenzen of the Rangers, who are in town here in St. Louis tonight. Lorenzen not scheduled to pitch in this series, for the record. Dodgers, who have long liked Tommy Edman, are among the teams considering him. We discussed that in our Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, 7 o'clock hour. That was reported by Katie Wu of The Athletic as well.
Did you mention who the Dodgers were willing to give up? I know she mentioned the Yankees, but...
No, she did not.
Okay.
And in his timeline, nothing else on the Cardinals. So there it is. That was just tweeted out this morning. So there you go.
Yeah, when you look at, like, if you're just, like, comparing, like, Eric Fetty's numbers this year have been unbelievable. So much so that it gives me just the slightest bit of pause because his numbers before this season are nothing like this. I mean, his WAR this season is 4.6. His career WAR is 4.4. He is, so you're buying a guy at his highest value, like, far and away his highest value. He's been an outstanding pitcher this year, no denying, but he has no years like this in his, he was drafted in 14, so...
He was drafted in 14, is that right?
Mm-hmm. He's 31. You'd have him.
He was 31, and he had pitched in Korea and threw 180 innings last year.
Right. He's signed through 25, so you'd have him for next year at about a $7.5 million clip, depending on how they work out contracts. But he's having an outstanding year, but this is an outlier year. Just he has a career ERA of almost 5. He's got a season ERA this year of 3.1. So this is certainly an outlier year. However, if he's pitching this well, be a great addition to the staff. But to give up Jordan Walker on a guy who's having a career year and you're basically using as a rental for a year and a half, I don't know. I don't know if that's the price, though. There's no price has been listed. John Heyman, we just said, tweeted out like a few minutes ago. We have no idea what they're asking for. I'm sure they're asking for Jordan Walker. I don't know if they'll oblige. I believe in one of the reports they said that they had reached out about Jordan Walker.
Yeah, if they don't get rid of Walker, I'm sure there's other teams that are giving up more players that would look better than what the Cardinals were offering if they're not putting Walker in there.
He's the KBO 2023 MVP. Relax, Piddles. That's from Steven time.
I'm just reading off Major League numbers. His Major League numbers do not coincide with how he's pitching this year. I don't know how one could argue that, but... hey.
Yeah, you can only go off numbers, Steven Tyne, unless you watch every White Sox game.
Iggy, I don't. Well, they're red hot. I mean, you'll be hard pressed to find many clubs playing better than the White Sox. I know they've lost 14 in a row, but they are really, really competing. By the way, the White Sox have played 108 games, and if they were to finish off the season on a 54-game winning streak, they would finish 500.
I sent Tim an article. It's too long to read for TMA, but I found it interesting. The headline is from The Ringer. The MLB trade deadline could be dictated by one of the worst teams in baseball history. It's crazy.
It's phenomenal how bad they are. And the thing is, they do have some starters who are pretty damn good.
I know. Like, all these teams are clamoring after some of their guys, but yet they're the worst team in baseball by a large margin.
I mean, what in the world? Their run differential, and I'm not a big run differential guy, but as far as you want to drive home the point, because I think run differential for a team that's kind of borderline like the Cardinals, I mean, I know they're minus 48. The Pirates are a game behind them. They're only minus 10. The Diamondbacks are a half game up on the Cardinals. They're plus 26. I don't know. I mean, what Crawford was out there pitching again, right? Did he pitch this weekend again?
Yeah, he only gave up 4 runs.
It's just, Anyway, point being, the White Sox have a minus 218.
I don't care.
The next worst, the Rockies, minus 173.
Yeah.
So it gives you an idea of how magical.
Sure. Run differential is not a
I don't buy it. I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't know. I guess if you're talking extreme bad or extreme good, so who has the best run differential in the game?
Probably the Guardians.
No, I'm sorry.
Dodgers?
No, I'm sorry.
The Philadelphia Phillies.
That's correct. Okay. They're 25 games over 500. Best in the American League for the record, the Yankees. Got it. They're the only 2 teams with a positive run differential of 3 digits.
Yeah. But I mean, we've referenced before, like the 87 Twins that beat the Cardinals had like a 23 or 30 run differential that year. Last year, the Phillies had something very similar. So, yeah, it doesn't paint the full picture. However, if you are minus 218 in run differential, you are officially a bad team. There's no way to spin that. There's ways to, like the Cardinals, when they lose, like Saturday's game, they lost by a lot, but it still counts as one loss.
Lorenzen just got traded to the Royals. So that has just happened. So there you go. Let me see if I can give details on that. I had never heard him associated with, here's Ken Rosenthal, with the Rangers trade of Lorenzen. Keep in mind that their pitching staff continues to get healthier, with Max Scherzer and Dane Dunning recently coming off the IL, and Bradford, Molly, and DeGrom on track to follow. In other words, I think people are trying to look to see if the Rangers are kind of pulling the plug on their season. They are 4 games under 500. The deal for the Rangers, though, if you are looking at them and possibly the Cardinals doing business with them, the American League West is
wide open.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers are 51 and 55, and yet they're only 4.5 games out of first place. So that's a different spot than if they were looking for the wild card. They're 6 games out of the wild card, but they're 4.5 out of the American League West. So what Rosenthal is saying is that doesn't mean that you're going to start seeing them necessarily. It doesn't mean necessarily pull the plug on the season. About 28 hours-ish left for the Major League Baseball trade deadline.
I don't know what the White Sox are. What are they looking for? I mean, the only decent thing they have is pitching.
Literally anything.
I don't know. Would they be willing to give up a 25-year-old Crochet?
I think he's going to go to a bidder of someone offering more than what the Cardinals will likely offer.
Yeah, but why would you give up your 2 best pitchers? I know Fetty's 31, Crochet's like 24, 25. Why give up your only 2 of your best pitchers for to stockpile hitting?
You're going to need a lot of pieces to turn that ship around.
Well, he just needs value, and you're not going to get much value in a guy like Eric Fetty, who's 31, when your team's not going to be competing anytime soon. So if you can get anything...
I get on Fetty, but I've heard Crochet's name brought up there too. Let's give away a young pitcher who was our number 1 draft pick and see if we can't get a few more better players. I mean, that's just, you're throwing crap at the wall.
Walter Pennington, by the way, is who's going to the Rangers. He is a left-handed pitcher, 2.26 ERA, 79-20 strikeout to walk ratio in 59 2/3 innings for AAA Round Rock. Or no, he will be going to AAA Round Rock, for the record. Those are his numbers at AAA this year. That was the price point for Michael Lorenzen, who had an odd weekend this week. I only know because he's on the Southside Seaman Fantasy Baseball Club. He started on Saturday in Toronto, pitched 2/3 of an inning, got rocked in his start, and then they threw him back out there yesterday for 4 innings. You don't usually see guys get, and he didn't start the second game, but I guess it was just, I guess he didn't get too much work in the
That's a weird,
the 2/3.
Kind of like Libator got rocked, and then they brought him in as a reliever yesterday. What, 2 days later, 3 days later?
It was Wednesday to...
Yeah, he pitched Wednesday in Pittsburgh.
Wednesday to Saturday.
Do you want to support the EDF Group as a sponsor of TMA? It's real simple. Do you have a fire extinguisher where you work? The answer is yes, you certainly do. So please email the EDF Group at fire@theedfgroup.com so a technician can come out and explain to your team how the EDF Group can save your company money. Again, that email address is fire@theedfgroup.com. The EDF Group is hot and will prevent your facility from having hot fires. Experience the EDF Group difference. Learn more at the EDFgroup.com. Send your emails in for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. It comes your way in about 5 minutes. The morning after at InsideSTL.com is where you can send your emails for our Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Chairman Kurt, how do the conditions look out there for this fan page club championship semifinal match? Have you been in contact with the volunteers who are out there monitoring the golf course for this match with Paul Winters?
Haven't talked to anybody affiliated with the course. I did receive a message from Mr. Winters, though, with a statement on the situation.
Oh, my God. Wow, This is breaking news. Iggy, we just got breaking news. This is from my opponent, Paul Winters.
He says, I'll go on record saying I'm fine with whatever you decide on the match with Tim.
Wow.
So, man of character.
High character. Well, he's got no choice. Who cares whether you agree with it or not?
Yeah.
So,
and I don't know the gentleman. I'm just saying, if Kurt's the chairman and he says what goes, it doesn't matter whether you say you agree with it or not. But it's nice of him to text you.
Okay, gaslight girl boss gatekeep.
I love that guy. Can we get that guy on the air?
Yeah, he's going to join us on balloon party. Crochet will not be traded. He's demanding a contract extension to whomever trades for him. That's from Eric in the Central West End.
Contract extension. He's 25 years old. He's already signed a long-term deal?
He's got 3 years of service time.
Yeah, well, he can't ask for a deal.
He's arbitration eligible.
When? In 2 years?
2025. But, I mean...
Well, I'm sure he doesn't have a no-trade clause.
Well, someone like Tatis signed a big deal before.
Yeah, Tatis did, but he hasn't. Eligible. So this guy to say he's asking for a extension before he gets traded, he can't ask for anything.
You haven't watched a baseball game in 3 years! Why are you talking about it? Harrison's brother missed.
We were talking about the White Sox pitching staff, and I don't think anybody has seen a White Sox game this year. So
They came through town.
I
didn't see them.
You went to the game?
That Friday night when Sonny Gray pitched their one win. Yeah, I saw that game. It was a real winner. And then they proceeded to lose 2 to the worst.
I can only go on stats, buddy, when I haven't seen a team play. I didn't go to any of the White Sox games, so I guarantee you didn't see any games.
I've been back to...
If you're watching White Sox other than playing the Cardinals, there's something wrong with you.
Imagine if I said to my wife, what do you want to do tonight? I want to watch the White Sox game.
Yeah.
They playing the Cardinals? No, they just got to match up with the Guardians.
Yeah, who are a good team, and then just watch them get trounced.
No, they took a game, luckily.
Iggy carrying the water for his other boss, Chairman Kurt, had been a fun little storyline as of recent. Thanks. That's Dale Dumperhorn's stepbrother. We used to cyber.
Listen, Dumplehorn. I don't carry the water for anybody. Barely carry it.
With the weather delay and the doubleheader, is it pretty easy to brush this one under the rug and focus all the attention to this weekend?
No, this one ticks me off a little bit.
Anytime I get the Royals mentioned.
Oh, we'll ask Tim that against Winters if they don't play their match. Do you just brush this one under the rug, you're ready to play, and just kind of go to the next one?
Oh, God. Eric McDumplehorn is writing in.
Is he the emailer, too?
Do we have an Eric McDumplehorn who emails in?
I mean, we got a guy that makes up a bunch of names when he emails in. We don't have many two-star athletes on this.
Two-star? What does that mean?
Well, texting in and emailing in.
You don't think they're... What do you mean? Like two-star, like rivals?
Two-sport
athletes?
Oh, it's different.
Like Bo Jackson.
Like you're talking about people who text in and email in?
Yeah, I said two-star. See, I do misinterpret things I say sometimes. You know what I mean? Just like when I said it didn't depict the Last Supper. I said it's just, if it did, it didn't. It doesn't bother me. I don't know what the uproar is, so maybe I didn't use my words properly, but...
Who's the biggest triple threat in the audience? Caller, emailer, texter, somebody that can just really do it all. Three-tool player.
Stephen Wildwood has
I think it's Chairman Steve.
Flashes of that.
Well, he's the only one, so if you want to go the process of
Grandpa
elimination.
Licks hops in the email box every now and then.
Yeah, but I don't think he's ever had sustained success. Kevin Miller touches 2 of the 3.
When Stephen Wildwood emailed in.
He used to do it all the time. Steve, one Cardinal way.
He does it now, so it doesn't count as a sport athlete if he doesn't do it anymore.
Fair enough. All right, formerly I'll go Stephen Wildwood.
Yeah, his texts aren't very good, and his calls aren't very good, so...
that's subjective. We're just trying to find people who do any of it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think many do.
That's the case. Brian Henson's called in once, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago. I like that Brian Henson, though. Keep covering those Colts. I'm curious on the Colts this year.
Maybe he'll get to a game this year. Maybe they'll let him up there.
Chairman Kurt, are you doing any filtering? Because we've got a monster showdown. Only 3 days left for this Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the month for the month of July.
Yeah, I've been doing some filtering over here. We've got some of the people in contention.
Fun.
Yeah, not all of the people in contention, so I'm wondering where someone might be, but yeah.
That's a deep tease right there. Who's in? Who's in? Who's out? All right, transform your story at Illinois Recovery Center. At Illinois Recovery Center, the team believes in the strength of every individual's journey to recovery. Whether you're taking the first step or continuing your path, the IRC's dedicated team is here to support you. Why choose Illinois Recovery Center? A holistic healing approach, expert care and guidance, safe and welcoming environment, tailored programs for lasting recovery, top-notch facility and accommodation. Discover the path to lasting recovery and renewal at Illinois Recovery Center, where compassionate support meets personalized care for your unique journey. The IRC builds the unwavering determination to thrive beyond the shadows of the past. Whether you've made the life-saving choice to seek help on your own, or you want to be prepared for the other end of an addiction intervention with a loved one, the chance to learn about addiction recovery is available to you at the Illinois Recovery Center in Swansea. If you or someone you know wants more information about the Illinois Recovery Center, please call 888-472-9559 or visit IllinoisRecoveryCenter.com. Send your emails in for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. It comes your way in a matter of moments here on TMA. Then Jackson and I go down the hallway and we deal with the situation. It's called Balloon Party. If you'd like this TMA, and we have 5 others, TMA STL hat, it's available for you at TMASTLshop.com. For those of you watching on YouTube, you can see me holding it up into my camera, and you can check out the whole thing at TMASTLshop.com. It's all available for you right there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Design Air Heating and Cooling email of the day. Only 4 in the filtered file, is that right?
That's all that came through, period.
Wow. I guess I'm a scaredy cat because the storm had me shaking, but then I heard Tim's voice and everything just seemed okay. That's who Tim is. That's what Tim does. So then I got to thinking, my boyfriend's out of town, and since he put that lock on my penis, no chance of me picking up some strange. But a lot of people don't know I'm an amateur magician, so I spent the show pulling a Houdini, and that bad boy is now free. But who to bang? Payback? Time? Bang one of his coworkers? How about yes? And I am looking straight at you, flagpole. Virgin? How about used to be a virgin until he did the bone dance with a listener in the New Balance parking lot on Olive?
What?
10:07, July 29th, 2024. Digital stimulation. That's from Peter.
God.
Who? Peter.
That was like someone put a bunch of words and then did a salad toss and just
salad toss?
Yeah, just tossed the salad together. And there was no order to it.
Boy, you guys hit the 20th anniversary milestone and promptly put it on autopilot. When the old guy wasn't coughing or incoherently rambling, his new phone was going off like a slot machine. Not be outdone, the pale guy publicly professed his desire to bang Marshy Marsh. You can still see the puddle of drool in front of that albino liberal after he daydreamed of wearing matching Sleepless in Seattle pajamas with his hunky coworker.
Damn.
Hell, even YouTube tried to take the day off, and Doug didn't bother to show up today either. What a coincidence. He and I did unspeakable things to each other's naked bodies at the orgy, and all of a sudden he's too chicken to show his face around these parts. I'm not surprised. Last time I saw him, he was spread eagle wearing nothing but his compression socks and a smile, while 2 gentlemen were branding his butt cheek with the Grint logo in John Vaughn's childhood bedroom. Speaking of the orgy, I've never seen so many bed sores and varicose veins in my life. Here's a quick tip for your listeners from Jefferson County with poor hygiene. Next time, go ahead and shower before attending a group sex party. The combination of their body odor and coleslaw-flavored farts was almost too much for my tongue to handle. Almost. I'm a trooper, so I finished moistening their brown holes with my tongue like Gene Simmons in an envelope licking contest. But good grief, some of them butts was ripe. My only question is, do I need to go Tanya Harding on Paul Winter's ass? If he comes between Tim and the finals, I'll lose my mind. Good luck today, Mr. McKernan. We're all rooting for you. That's from the JV golf coach.
A lot of falsehoods in there, but a good email.
I don't appreciate the shot against my homestead of Jeffco.
Hiya. Absolute fire skeleton work lately. Kindly requesting a replay of the time Iggy penned an email. Hold on a second here, nurse. Kindly requesting a replay of the time Iggy penned an email to the VP of Sales, Program Director, and Market Vice President demanding they take time out of their day to do some voiceover work on the Pepper and Genie podcast. The script was Aaron Sorkin level wit and humor. Unfortunately, the email went unanswered, and Pepper and Genie forgot to upload the podcast for a day or two, to the surprise and dismay of not a single person. But what a special time in the TMA zeitgeist. The show nobody wanted that forced its way into the TMA feed. And when people complained Plowsy and Iggy rated, they would tell people to simply unsubscribe, but they didn't want to impact TMA's bottom line subscriber numbers as if their listener base was subbed to the feed for their show only. Anyways, can someone find me Jody's email? I have a couple homework assignments I'd like for her to complete for me in a timely fashion. Thanks. That's from Taterhead Got the Number Henrique.
Oh, my
Taterhead
God.
Got the Number Henrique is back.
Oh, my God. I remember that. The Pepper Genie era was so strong. God, do I miss it. Oh, that was good stuff. Just reading the descriptions every day after Balloon Party were my favorite pastimes.
And Young, wow, that leadoff email sure left a lot to be desired. Anyway, in honor of Old Country winning gold in archery, I'll be running a special promotion in the old Whisper page. Subscribe and ring that bell for notification, then send a screen grab as evidence along with your spiciest Olympics opening ceremony take to Negril111 at AOL.com, and I'll get you hooked up with a watermark copy of the prologue or first chapter or whatever of Ken's book. Thanks. That's from #1 Asian intern Brian Henshin, proprietor of ASMR Taylor 2.0, a softly spoken fan page. And finally, Sadie Hawkins, Kurt. Paul Goldschmidt walked off the Nationals in front of an alleged crowd of 37,000 as the Cardinals avoided getting swept by one of the worst teams in the National League. The U.S. men's basketball team won their first game of the Olympics, but all anyone cares about is whether some guy's balls were hanging out during the opening ceremony. But I think the lead is that Iggy got a new phone and may have had the bulk of his life savings wiped out as he was heavily leveraged in golf rival gems and coins. The old liberal sounds like he's on Adderall this morning as his usage rate was through the roof during the early Cardinal discussion. The first 30 minutes of the show is basically Balloon Party, only with Ken's notifications going off in the background. Jackson was so quick to embrace the Cardinals' payroll talking points at face value, it's like he's working on his rights holder merit badge. The Cardinals haven't had a strategy to win the World Series since they started hiring unqualified yes men to manage the team, and they're always trying to do just enough to mollify the most blindly loyal B-fibs into fooling themselves into getting excited about next season and a perpetual strategy to tread water to keep their heads above the line of contention. It's really a shame Doug wasn't in studio to hear about the alpha losers in this college football video game league.
Yeah, I might text it to him and see if he's got thoughts.
Who are restarting their games to avoid taking bad losses against cupcake opponents.
Yes.
Maybe we can start a GoFundMe to buy a hooker for that pathetic soul who restarted his game 3 times. Or perhaps can we stick all these losers in a room together at the Congress Inn to watch porn and masturbate because that's somehow a less pathetic use of their time. That's from Buck Swope, and that's who we have. For the Design, Air, Heating, and Cooling email of the day. Chairman, what you got?
I got to go Buck Swope there at the end.
Ken. I clipped that off.
It's like when I got birthday.
You sounded wounded. That's
like when I got birthday wishes said "Happy Birthday, Ken." I said, they don't know who I am.
Is that right? They're just like auto birthday.
Because if you call me Iggy, if you don't call me Iggy, then you basically don't know who I am. Yeah, I'll go with Swope.
Buck Swope. Further indication of union between the chairman and Iggy. That's what's going on.
Really shows the other one sucked.
Or there's that. Buck Swope now, Jackson, is he
tied with three-way trade deal? Yeah, and we didn't get emails from the coalition or three-way trade deal today.
How about that? That means the JV golf coach's winning streak has come to an end. It was 3 months.
Good
and he was
email
wonderful.
Today.
He was wonderful.
Good email today.
Who are you going to vote for? Do you know?
I was going Buck Swope.
Okay.
There it is. All right, Balloon Party is coming up here in a matter of 3 minutes on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. We'll monitor this trade deadline. John Heyman reporting the Cardinals and White Sox gaining momentum on Eric Fetty. We will keep an eye on that. Balloon Party coming your way at 10 o'clock on 101 ESPN. For Jackson Benner Burkett, for Chairman Kurt, for Kenneth Iggy Strode, for my brother Kevin, for the vacationing Douglas Elvin Vaughn. I'm Tim McKernan. This closes out the Schaefer Door Company 9 o'clock hour here on TMA, presented to you by Brown and Crouppen.
Stupiracy, the podcast where stupidity meets history and conspiracy.
You gotta question these things.
With hosts Scott Rizzuto and Tim McKernan.
I'm here to learn, everybody!
Check out the latest episode, available now. As Riz and Tim explore